fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
Another one.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always
Me.
homeboys. Even
Said.
if you is a fat phony.
Thank
Please
you, all
don't take me out
support.
the gal.
I ain't gonna kill you. We was homeboys once, pig. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys. Even if you is a fat phony.
Please don't take me out.
Back in the motherfucker twin. Hold on, twin. Hold on now. Hello. Back, baby.
Another one.
Day shift.
Another one.
Give me a hell yeah. What?
We gotta finish damn Dr. Red. We be on this shit about goddamn 4 days, chat. What the fuck going on? You know what I'm saying? You know that before y'all tired, shit. I ain't gonna lie. Oh shit, hold on. Alright, we gonna finish this shit. I ain't to wind it back, son. Let's get into it. Lock in.
Players usually don't even have a wife. They never commit and change partners like their underwear. So Pac was pointing out that contradiction. He's also threatening to shoot and kill the people from Bad Boy. After reading Pac's comments in the Vibe magazine and hearing his constant jabs at him and his label, Puffy told Pac to come see him if he's as tough as he claims, so that they can talk it out face to face. He was calling him a fake thug and actor. But then, when they actually met at the 96 Soul Train Awards, Puff ran for his life and hid under a car. And everyone was laughing at him. So Pac is saying that he'd rip his weak heart out. He doesn't associate with weak-hearted people. But this is also a double entendre, with Pac saying that Puffy wants to see him weak. Like when he went to prison with the whole media destroying his image and reputation, and then putting out who shot ya to kick Pac while he was already on the ground, unable to respond. But now that he's out, he's showing the world that Puffy, Biggie and Bad Boy are easy targets for him. Quote-unquote mark-ass B-words.
We keep on coming while we running for your juice. Steady gunning, keep on busting at the boots. You know the rules.
Similar to how Pac was robbed for his jewelry in the presence of Biggie and Puffy,
Legendary
Pac
song,
and his
wait a moment,
homies will come for their jewelry
That
as
shit don't
well
never go.
and rob them at gunpoint. Take their jewelry and take their money, like you hear the singers say in the background. When Puffy heard this, he actually put out a $75,000 bounty on Death Row chains. Anybody who manages to snatch one of their chains and bring it back to Puffy would receive that amount of money. Cause Puffy's plan was to record a Bad Boy music video for Biggie with them showing off the stolen Death Row medallion to belittle them. Showing them that they're the ones in power. The ones that get the last laugh. On Hit 'Em Up, you were saying that you would rob us and take our jewelry, but as you can see, you're the ones who actually got robbed. You're the victims and you can't do anything about it. That's what Puffy wanted to do to ridicule and emasculate them.
Little Caesar, go ask your homie how I leave you. Cut your young ass up. Leave you in pieces.
Now this is a clever play on Little Caesar's name, turning C's into deceased, cutting him up into pieces, which is also a reference to Julius Caesar of the Roman Empire, who got brutally stabbed to death by those he believed to be his closest friends, who believed that Caesar was full of wrongdoings for his people. Pac used to be Little Caesar's friend, but he did him wrong, and now he's cutting him into pieces. Cause again, Pac believed that C's was the lookout man during the Quad Studio incident. The guy that lured him into a trap by telling him to get around the corner, to the place where he got robbed.
Little kid, don't fuck around with real G's. Put your stench monkey ass off the streets. So open beef.
Little Kim is another member of Biggie's Junior Mafia. She was the one Biggie cheated on Faith with. Reason why they're getting dissed is because they were the closest to Biggie, and also appeared on the Get Money remix, for which again they stole the beat off Hit 'Em Up. Pac is telling her to not mess with real G's like him, or else he will snatch her ugly ass off the streets. This is actually a double entendre. The first way to interpret this is pretty straightforward. He wants to kidnap her. The second way is that he wants to take her off the streets, like a pimp. Pimps do that to underperforming prostitutes who are not attractive enough to attract men and to make money. So the pimp, which in this case is Pac, is taking her out of rotation. Basically calling her an ugly, underperforming prostitute. Her main selling point aside from her rapping skills was definitely her looks. which Biggie wanted to utilize to outsell the competition on the West Coast.
I let the niggas know it's on for life. Don't let the West Side ride the night.
Pac is saying that he'll continue the beef until one of them dies, which is unfortunately what happened, since both of them lost their lives in the middle of the East Coast-West Coast War. The beef was very personal. The two had a lot of history together, turned from close friends to deadly enemies. Pac was willing to keep the beef going until he leaves planet Earth, which is exactly what he did.
At John Duong L8W said,
he's killing everyone that's associated to the label Bad Boy. They'll get their caps peeled, meaning they'll get shot in the head. In the hook, he's telling them to grab their guns and to call the police when they see him, since he's about to strike back after they failed to finish him off during the Quad Studio shooting.
Oh, that's why you said it.
At Julimo 4300.
As you can hear, Pac tried to mimic the hook on Junior Mafia's Players
Tupac,
Anthem.
of course.
Then he references Biggie's song Who Shot Ya, telling them that they didn't finish, and that now they have to deal with the consequences.
Are you about to feel a wrath of minutes? Are you more?
In the interlude, Pac tells his enemies that none of them are on his level, and that he'll just let his soldiers take care of them. A couple years ago, Biggie was one of Pac's soldiers, and he still sees him as someone who doesn't have the same rank as him. He sees himself as a general and Biggie as a soldier who's on the same level as his outlaws, which is of course ridiculous, knowing that Biggie is one of the greatest to ever do it, and he had proven himself to be a force to be reckoned with all the awards and plaques he got, crowned as the King of New York by the Hip Hop Bible. He was definitely the closest to Tupac in terms of hierarchy and rank. They were both fighting for the #1 spot. But Pac wanted to remind him that he once stood exactly where his outlaws are standing right now, right by his side, working under him. So Big shall come down from his high horse.
Get out the way, yo, get out the way, yo. Biggie Smalls just got dropped.
Hussein Fatal had the second verse, and he starts off by saying that Biggie just got dropped, describing a crime scene in which Big was just shot and people are pushing through the crowd to see his dead body. He asked Lil Moo, aka Napoleon from the Outlaws, to pass him the Mac, so that he can shoot Biggie in his back even though Pac already dropped him.
Frank White needs to get spanked right for setting traps, little accident murderers, and I ain't never heard of ya.
This is them publicly saying that Biggie set up Tupac, talking about the Quad Studio incident. People were always coming in Pac's defense saying that he never actually claimed that Biggie set him up, but they're accusing him right here, on one of Pac's biggest records. Pac always made conflicting statements about Biggie's alleged involvement. He would usually only say that Big knew who shot him, but wouldn't tell him, and that he assumes that he had something to do with it, having no clear evidence. But now, Hussein Fatal is literally saying that it was him who set him up, which later turned out to be complete nonsense. Pac then comes in with verse number 3, saying that this ain't no freestyle battle but murder, since he's killing all his enemies with their mouths open. People always debated on who's the better freestyler, Pac or Biggie. Pac is saying that it's a pointless debate, since his freestyles won't help him to survive this trap, as it's his metaphorical nail in the coffin.
Yeah. I ain't know that shit till I got them seen clips and shit or shorts and shit, and I started seeing. I said, "What the fuck he saying? Killing little kids, fucking him in the ass." I was like, "What the fuck this nigga got going on, twin?" Then don't turn his ass out, shit.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Talking about you getting money, but it's funny to me. All you niggas living for me while you ain't up with me.
He also references the song Get Money, how Biggie bragged about his newfound wealth after blowing up, while using the beat for Hit 'Em Up to infuriate Tupac. He was basically showing Pac that he's one step ahead of him, and that they'll continue making money no matter what. And Pac responds by promising him that he'll turn his life miserable if he ever tries to mess with him, pulling those stunts like on Get Money.
Biggie, remember when I used to let you sleep on the couch and beg him to let you sleep in the house?
Then he tries to remind him of the past, before Biggie reached superstardom. Back when he was sleeping on Tupac's couch every time he came to LA. Cause Biggie used to make songs like Juicy where he rapped about his struggles growing up. But he somehow can't remember how Pac used to let him rap at his shows and crash at his house when he was too broke to buy train tickets.
Wait, deja vu? Not deja vu.
Biggie, remember when I used to let you sleep on the couch and beg him to let you sleep in the house?
I remember Biggie sleeping on my couch. I remember begging tips to you feel me? Yeah. So Big Papa don't mean nothing to me. He know it. He knows. That's why he can't fight me. That's why he can't battle me.
He also addressed the whole thing about him begging women to sleep with Biggie. Because back then, Biggie had no game.
Damn.
Tupac was a ladies' man, and Biggie always wanted to be like him. Then he jumps to the present and mocks Biggie for trying to bite his whole swagger and player image.
Now it's all about Versace. You copied my style. 5 shots couldn't drop me.
I took you this smile.
Tupac was one of the first rappers to dress in and talk about luxury brands, clothing usually associated with rich white males, thus kickstarting an even more materialistic trend in mid-90s hip-hop. Pac is trying to say that he had the Versace style before Biggie. Gianni Versace gave Tupac free clothes because he thought he was beautiful, and he also admired his art.
Oh my God!
They say I thought he was beautiful. What kind of shit is that? Hold on, twin. What we getting into?
At JulieMo4300 said, I watched that dude from Notorious Big from Mississippi, Big a whole copycat.
That's what I'm saying. It's like four Biggie Smalls that we find out from these documentaries. It's like 4 different. It's one was before when Big was with Pop with the Thug Life movement. It one his name was Biggie Small. Then you got the old time movie in the 70s. I think it's the 80s, 70s. One of them motherfuckers. Then you got that motherfucker Mississippi. God damn. But Juicy, he copied that motherfucker.
So that's why he wanted Pac to wear his clothes. This was also a response to Biggie claiming that he was the one who started mentioning Versace in song lyrics.
He glamorized Versace. I didn't call Versace. Versace called me to come to his show and gave me a gang of free clothes. And please wear my shit. Please do some shit for me. Can you wear my shit? You are the image of Versace. I swear to God, you are that body.
So yeah, Versace got popping like that.
I swear to God, Armani. You are so
somebody from the area. Let me know.
Believe in, you know what I mean? From him, Dolce Gabbana, man, I ain't rapping at they show.
Dolce Gabbana.
Valentino giving me suits, gangster suits. Everything he glamorized, I personified. Everything he wanna have, I got.
Next we have a verse from Gaddafi, who starts off by giving a shout out to New Jersey, the city he was born in. Then he takes aim at the Junior Mafia members Lil C's and Lil Kim.
Check the scenario. Little C's, I bring you fake G's to your knees, copping please in these scenario.
He hopes to bring the fake East Coast gangsters to their knees for a plea bargain in Rio de Janeiro. Reason why he even mentioned the city in Brazil is because Lil C's was also known by his alias Cesario de Janeiro. The next lines were aimed at Lil Kim and the Junior Mafia family. Him calling the Junior Mafia clique Junior Whopper made Lil C's and the people from Bad Boy laugh the hardest. They loved that line, since he's not only making fun of Biggie's weight, calling his clique a cheap fat burger that was worth 99 cents at the time.
99 cents? You can't get that shit no more, Chad. That's fucked up. It was 99 cents back in the day. That motherfucker got them a whole $20 now. That don't mean no shit.
But he was also saying that they ain't valuable and can't get money. They are not even a Whopper, just a cheaper, smaller version of it. Biggie and Craig Mack together were marketed as the Big Mac, back when the label Bad Boy first made a name for itself. Cause in '94 the label put out a sampler called Big Mac, with 6 Craig Mack songs on the A-sides and 7 Biggie songs on the B-sides, as they were the first major artists on Bad Boy with their albums Ready to Die and Project Funk the World, dropping back to back in September '94. And now Gaddafi is calling Biggie's crew the Junior Whopper clique. Then we have Idi Amin, who repurposed the hook from MC Light's diss track 10% Diss to accuse Biggie of biting Tupac's beat and style.
Choose a beat fighter, a pop style taker. I tell you to your face, you ain't bitch but a faker.
Beat fighter, dope style taker. Tell you to your face, you ain't nothing but a faker.
He called him a beat biter because not only did Biggie steal the beat of Tupac's Time to Get My Drank On for his hit single Big Papa, but he also stole the beat of the first version of Hit 'Em Up for his Get Money remix. Not only that, but Pac and his camp were also convinced that Biggie stole his style, especially the player image and him constantly rapping about death. And then we get to the legendary outro where Tupac lashes out on everybody. This is a 1.5-minute rant about Puffy, Biggie, Lil C's, Lil Kim, Jay-Z, Junior Mafia, Chino XL, Mobb Deep, and everyone from New York trying to take shots at
Jay-Z ain't
him.
fucking with Tupac.
Now you tell me
His ass
who won.
up.
I see them, they run.
Pac thinks that this track won him the East Coast-West Coast war, as it's a lot harder than
Oh,
Who
you
Shot
won, I'll
Ya,
hit him up.
which he thought was a diss track towards him. And also all the other diss tracks from rappers from the East Coast.
They don't wanna see us. Whole Junior Mafia clique dressing up trying to be us.
He also makes fun of the fact that Puffy ran off in parkour fashion when they came face to face at the '96 Soul Train Awards.
Boy, took off.
Puffy was running for his life and hiding under a car. And he was the one telling Pac to come say those things he's saying in the media to his face. So Pac pulled up and Puffy ran for his life. And that's why he said, "I see them, they run."
Any niggas from New York that wanna bring it, but we ain't singing, we bringing drama. You
At
and your
JulieMo
motherfucking
4300.
He also called
Said,
out every rapper
Yo.
from New York,
The narrator getting
showing
hella
that he's
shit
not
wrong,
scared
faced with
of any
tears of
further
joy,
beef
faced
with
with tears of
rappers from
joy.
the East Coast.
That's
He's
what people
basically
last day
saying
saying,
F you
like,
to everyone
yesterday
from
chat.
New York who has a problem with him. And also F
well,
you
thank
to
you
all
for
their
y'all coming in here
mothers,
correct
saying
and
that
shit,
they'll
let me
kill
know
them
what's
all.
right and what's
Now when I
wrong.
came out, I told you it was just about Biggie. Then everybody had to open their
I was a
mouth
baby
with
at the time. I was born 91, so.
At first,
I
Tupac
don't know
was
what
only
really
talking
true
about
about,
Biggie,
so
but he
I got
felt
y'all
like
coming
people
here.
started taking sides and wanted to get involved, jumping in the ring while the media labels it an East Coast-West Coast conflict, even though for Tupac it was only about him and Biggie. So Pac felt like in order for him to win the war, he has to fight everyone who's still trying to get in the ring with him. He makes clear that
just take it
everyone
as a
can
grain
get
of
it,
salt.
all at the same
As the
time.
saying go.
He's not
Appreciate
shying away
130,
from battling
31
any
people, and I
MC
appreciate
from the
y'all, so.
opposite coast.
Biggie, bad boy as a staff, record label, and as a motherfucking crew.
The next lines were the reason why Puffy finally decided to put out a hit on him and Shook. Puffy was worried about his business and safety, because Pac was the biggest rapper on the planet at the time, crushing
We need to get
everything
him for the
Puffy,
murder, man.
Biggie, and
Come on,
Bad
man.
Boy had
Get out
built
of
up
shit.
since
Both of
Pac
them.
got shot the first time in New York.
All of y'all motherfuckers, you die slow, motherfucker. My fofo make sure all y'all kids don't grow.
Puffy was scared to death after Tupac made those threats on Hit 'Em Up, especially the part about
At
him
Mike
killing
Jacks
their
92.
kids, knowing that his baby mama,
Said,
Misa Hilton, has a
How is
relationship
the
with
narrator
Shook.
getting shit wrong?
Stop the cap.
We get around to it.
No bullshit, bro.
What you getting wrong, bro? Tell me what you getting wrong, twin. If I got them continue this shit. What you getting wrong, twin? Talking about the Puppy putting a hit out on Suge and Tupac. That what you talking about? You know, Suge Knight for his baby mama right here. I mean, Suge Knight for Diddy baby mama right here. You mad about this shit? That was last. They say that in the document he said that was the last straw. That what made him want to put the hit out on both of them. You know, big Tupac for face.
At JulieMo 4300. Said. Just the lyrics part.
Just the lyrics part. Okay. That motherfucker do not look like Diddy. That goddamn Suge, baby. They say, hey, somebody said yesterday it's the security guard who had died from Diddy security guard or some shit who had died. Hey, his son.
Cause she would always bring Diddy's son to LA every time Shook flew her out. Faith and Biggie had a baby on the way too. And he also had a daughter, which Tupac helped to support. And Pac was now saying, my fofo, make sure all your kids don't grow. Nobody had crossed that line yet. It was unheard of for rappers to threaten to kill babies. And Pac was really out of control at the time. He scared Puffy
Oh,
to
man, you're
death
wrong,
when
bro.
they met at
Kids
the
ain't
Soul
got
Train
nothing to do with
Awards.
it.
And that's
What
why he
kids, though?
supposedly got in touch
Kids
with
don't have
Beefy
nothing to
D
do with
and wanted him to take care of them before they do anything stupid. Cause even on the song, he was telling everyone to not come to Cali.
At JulieMo4300 said, "Yup, it's Wolf's son." I said, "Dad."
Cause that motherfucker do not look like no damn Diddy, bro. You can give a damn how light skinned mama is.
He also gave a shout out to
He's
Shook's
gonna have
gang,
no
the Ma
features, you know
Peru,
that?
which Pac wanted to join. They had the Bloods behind them, ready to go at the people from Bad Boy the moment they come to LA. Pac ends the song by mentioning the record sales of his last album, bragging about outselling everybody.
Fuck 'em, we bad boy killer.
4 days later, on April 23rd, he recorded the song Made N-Words, in which he's also taking jabs at Biggie.
Call me a bad boy killer, murder motherfucker. Daily know the fans trail me, so my alias Machiavelli.
This song contains physical threats against Biggie's daughter, who was only 2 years old at the time, and also against Biggie's wife Faith Evans. Pac was engaged to the daughter of Quincy Jones, Kidada Jones, and he was afraid that Biggie might start dissing Kidada in response to him dropping Hit 'Em Up and bragging about sleeping with his wife. So that's why he made it clear that nobody can do to Kidada what he did to Faith, that there'll be severe consequences. So Pac was ready to kidnap Biggie's daughter and kill his wife Faith Evans. And he promised him that he'll attend her funeral just to tell Biggie that it was him who put out the hit on her. Now that is even worse than what he said on Hit 'Em Up.
Yo, Piggy, man, we got it going on, baby. It's on and cracking, man. He's gone, baby. You the man, you the man. Champagne, caviar, dreams from now on, baby. Plats, baby, straight plats, homie. Baby, baby. Right, we on and cracking from now on, man. You know what I'm saying?
On April 28th, Tupac and Snoop released a music video for two of America's Most Wanted. The intro features two characters named Piggy and Buffy, who, as you can probably guess, were supposed to depict Puffy and Biggie. In the video, they were accused of setting up Tupac, who miraculously survived the shooting and came back to confront them. Piggy and Buffy have a chat about finally having eliminated Tupac, saying that they have no obstacles in their way now. That's when Tupac stepped into the office like Tony Montana in the movie Scarface. He confronted them and made them beg for their lives, telling Biggie that he won't kill him, as they were once homeboys.
It's a lying piece of shit.
Pop, please don't kill him. It was Buck's idea.
No, man.
I'm just a rapper, man. Please don't take me out the game.
I ain't gonna kill you.
I'm glad I didn't play the
We was
video.
homeboys once, Peg. Once we homeboys, we always homeboys.
That shit copyrighted.
Even if you is a fat phone.
But they got killed regardless. So this raises the question: did Pac order the killing of Stretch like he did in the music video with Buffy and Piggy, or was it done just for entertainment? To recreate that iconic scene from the movie Scarface where Tony tells his friend Manny to shoot Frank. Pac saw me big psych, then shoots them off screen. This video dropped right after the Soul Train Awards where they drew the guns on each other. And Puffy was running for his life. So seeing a music video of Pac letting people shoot him, especially after the Quad Studio shooting in New York, and after the shooting with Snoop at the New York video set, must have had an impact on him. It most likely added another reason for Puffy to assume that they were really trying to hurt or even kill them, for all the things they blamed them for, like the murder of Shook's friend Big Jake, for example. So Puffy most likely didn't see this video as a funny Scarface parody, but more as a threat and something that may happen in the near future if he's uncareful.
They should have got
But
his ass.
after the release of that video, it appeared as if Death Row might be starting to chill. At a mid-May East-West Rap Summit in Philadelphia, set up by Dr. Benjamin Chavez to help defuse the situation, Shook avoided any negative comments about Puffy, who did not attend because there was too much hype around the event, according to Puffy himself. There's nothing between Death Row and Bad Boy, or me and Puffy, Shook said. Death Row sells volume, so how could Puffy be a threat to me? Or Bad Boy be a threat to Death Row? But around that same time, Pac did an interview with Hot 97 host Angie Martinez and supposedly lashed out on Biggie, Diddy, Andre Harrell, and everyone who was on his radar at the time. A 2-hour interview that was supposedly too controversial to be released. Hot 97 is a New York radio station, so there was a lot of pressure on Angie Martinez for even giving Tupac a platform and letting him diss the East Coast in an interview which, according to her and everyone else, would have gotten people killed and Pac locked up. Biggie and Diddy were mad at her for reaching out to him, and Angie didn't want to lose her job. Plus, she was convinced that releasing the interview would do more harm than good, so she ended up not putting it out. Puffy's ex-bodyguard Dream Deal said that Puffy heard the interview and made Angie Martinez not release it, as according to him, it would expose it.
The East Coast, West Coast thing is a musical thing. That's separate. That's a whole thing separate to itself. That's a musical thing. When we have been beefing about whose music is better or which is this or which is that from the beginning. It has, because I'm like a lightning rod because I'm attacking New York's finest. They're self-proclaimed king of New York. You know what I mean? I'm attacking them, so because nobody's separating themselves from him, they still talking about how raw. Yes, they still talking about how raw he is and woo woo woo. He's a representative. He represents New York. There are a lot. Every time it benefits New York, he represents New York. When it don't benefit New York, now he's just another rapper. But y'all let him wear y'all colors. You let him shout y'all out. When Biggie came out here, he screamed out, "Brooklyn's in the house." We don't beef and say, "Why are you starting a war?" Why is everybody, when I say West Side, it hurt people feeling?
You know what it is? It's New York's visualizing your camp, which to them is Death Row, which is Dog Pound, which is Snoop, and which is that whole thing. And it was all one time. The New York video came out. Brothers was stepping on cars in New York, stepping on New York like they owned it. Boom, you come out next video. West.
What about the video? Yes, it is to me.
Oh hell no!
She talking about.
Get your ass on, boy.
It is the best coast, and everybody in New York feel like that too. That's why they come out here and party, man. Why is everybody acting like? I'm not saying. I didn't say for me to say Cali is the West Coast. I never said New York ain't. I never said New York is the worst coast. I just said where I'm at, where I'm from, is the best coast. Why is that offending people?
On May 19th, Pac did an interview with Vibe magazine where he talked about his relationship with Puffy and Biggie, saying that it was never a beef, just a difference in opinions.
It was never a beef. It's only a difference in opinion. My homeboy sure gave me the best advice I could ever give from anybody. He said, when people ask him if he's beefing with Bad Boy, with Puffy, he says, like, me going to a playground and picking on little kids. Right.
He also responded to the accusations from critics, saying that Pac started to have a problem with Biggie once he became famous and started to make some money. That he got jealous while he was in prison, seeing him get all the respect from the game, all the awards, all the plaques, the support and promotion he got from the media, treating Biggie like the king of rap while at the same time trying to destroy Tupac's image. But for Pac, it's all about respect, which Biggie supposedly didn't give him.
That's like me being mad at my little brother because he getting cash now. No, I'm not mad at that. I'm just mad at my little brother when he don't respect me. Yeah. Now, when you don't respect me, I'm gonna spank your ass. I don't give a fuck how rich you got. On the block, I'm your big brother. I will break your big ass down.
He also made clear why he felt disrespected and not appreciated, saying that Biggie is not a bad person. He was supposedly just corrupted and blinded by money, to the point where he forgot about the people who helped him to get all the way to the top.
At Larry Johnson N3E.
Yo, Larry
said, you.
Shout out Larry back in here, man. Had to wind it back, Larry. Goddamn, you know what I'm saying? That's how we left off it like yesterday. Appreciate you coming back.
Yeah. Because money is evil if it's not handled right. If you lose your composure, you could do anything. And he got stronger than love, and they stayed on what he was supposed to do.
Pac was disappointed in Biggie for not trying to help him find the people who were responsible for the Quad Studio shooting.
Know what I'm saying?
He explains how he personally would have handled the situation if Biggie was the one that got shot, saying that he would have tried to find out who did it and then help to arrange a meeting between Biggie and that person. That's what Pac expected from him.
Larry Johnson
because there was a similar incident in Las Vegas at the Club 662. Where the Wu-Tang Clan was chilling in the VIP section, drinking and partying, until a fight broke out between RZA and the group OFTB, which at the time was signed to Death Row. And they beat up RZA pretty badly. They also snatched his chain, similar to how Pac was robbed in New York, but without the involvement of guns. Pac actually got RZA's chain back and offered him to meet the people who were responsible for it, so that they can talk it out like men, or even have a one-on-one fight if that's what he wants.
I might do easy.
But RZA just wanted his chain back, and everything was good.
Study how when Wu-Tang got their chain snatched at 6'6" Deuce, I not only found who did it, but gave them the message that if they want to see the niggas that did it, they can see them. That's all I ask for. That's all I ask for. If you're gonna act like you a gangster or a G or a king in New York, I'm gonna expect that. And when you don't come through, then I'm gonna crush your empire. And that's what it's time for.
Then he gets asked if he thinks that Puffy was involved in the Quad Studio shooting.
Yeah, he was.
To which Pac responds that he has proof for it, which is not for the world to know about.
Why?
He doesn't want to slander their names like they did in the Vibe magazine, where they made him sound like a drama queen.
Only they can answer that question.
At Larry Johnson N3E
like they did mine.
said,
so. I do believe so.
I ain't going to lie, I F asterisk with
you don't know about no Bone
my
Thugs.
favorite is Bone Thugs
You know for that, boy?
Pac also talks about dethroning Biggie in just 2 months, saying that nobody in hip-hop can come close to him success-wise, with him selling 5 million records in just 2 months, while Biggie, as the king of New York, only sold 2 million in over a year. And this was just the beginning.
I sold 5 million in 2 months. Biggie been out 2 years. He's barely touching 2 million. This nigga had 50 remixes, 1,000. He got everybody in New York in his videos and still barely touching 2 million. I've been out 2 months. My shit sold 5 million with 2 videos out. I'm just starting. These niggas can't touch us.
At Luke Haspeley
2 days later, on May 21st,
Puff, just a
Biggie,
little
The Lux,
freaky,
Diddy, and
kinda
the
like
rest
Dwight
of the Bad Boy
Howard.
family were at the video shoot, an interview with Chuck Phillips.
There y'all go. Man, he too big to be a damn predator. You know what I'm saying? We have got them Biggie. I mean, Diddy been and got them the White House over. Oh my God.
So Faith has been lying for all these years. She still hasn't changed to this day.
Ain't nothing wrong with a woman, man.
She's been in 3
Ain't nothing
marriages
like a
and
woman,
cheated
boy.
every single
Don't know
time.
what the fuck wrong with them.
Even recently on her
Ain't nothing
ex-husband
like a
Stevie
woman.
J.
You know what I'm talking about?
She brought multiple men home and slept with them in Stevie J's bed. And when confronted, she had no remorse, zero accountability, and a cocky attitude. Stevie J at least was able to catch her red-handed. So she wasn't able to lie her way out like she did with Pac and Biggie.
Damn, we lied. We lied. It's cool. We lied. I hate you. Please leave me alone. Please, I hate you.
All I did was love
I bet she still like that to this day.
And you do that to me? How can you do that to me?
Stop.
How can you
Fuck.
me? No, I ain't going
Out of here. Here you go with your dumb shit.
No, you
Grow the fuck
At
up.
Larry
This is what I
Johnson
don't want to be bothered
N3E
with. Get the
said,
And this was her
Puff
at almost
is involved
50.
with everything
Now
surrounding
imagine how
that
wild
shit.
she
He is
was
a
when she
zest
was younger.
monster and Satan
Fuck man
himself.
niggas when I was little. That's why Dick don't want to do shit for me now. Like, yo,
She was out in clubs every night to meet men.
With that ball dude, I don't watch him. I believe he with them. He with them motherfuckers too. You know what I'm saying? He says too.
Didn't even matter if it's the enemy of her husband.
Shout out Tyrone.
She went back to the Peninsula Hotel with Tupac the same day they met, meaning on October 13th, after leaving the Hollywood Athletic Club. Cause when Pac went out to smoke, he saw Faith leave the building. He then yelled across the parking lot, "Y'all leaving?" And Faith responded, "No." Pac then said, "Cause we about to go back to my hotel room. What y'all gonna do?" And Faith said, "We gonna follow you." That night, Faith went to Tupac's room at the Peninsula Hotel.
At Larry Johnson N3E
3
said,
days later, they even went to the
Dwight
Waiting
Howard
to
is a
Exhale
big-ass
soundtrack
zest
release party
monster
together on
himself.
October
I don't
16th.
understand these
There was
boys
no
got
mention
all
of
the
this
money,
meeting
but
in
want
Faith's
booty.
first
That
recount when she was asked in interviews months later.
blows my mind.
But in her memoir,
I think what it is, I think they don't be like that when they first, you know what I'm saying, when they first getting that shit. That motherfucker eat that Diddy oil, put them sleep. They, you know what I'm saying, they powder in that motherfucking Diddy oil. Got them put their ass sleep, motherfucker rake the hell out of there and then show them tape. Yeah, you can't do nothing now. They be like, shit, they got me. I might well just be sus. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think.
which she released in 2009, she spoke about a whole new set of events that
you too
supposedly
damn big for this shit,
transpired
like,
after
bro.
the night at
Ain't
the
no way.
soundtrack release party, which she either tried to hide or forgot to mention in her first account in '96, or made up and added on top of a mountain of lies in an attempt to trick with people who have noticed the holes in her story.
Man, we supposed to be way up, man. I don't know what the
On
fuck I got
September
going on.
4th, the Death Row family flew to New York
Hold
to
on, shit, I thought we
Park
was
heard the
fine. How we
disses
back?
on the demo version for Biggie.
Damn, I forgot we was
One
back.
of the songs which was supposed to be Atlanta, the whole East-West rivalry, making Puff too scared to come to the West Coast.
Damn, tell me I
it was really all about Suge, because it was Suge's muscle, the people he had around him that Puffy was afraid of. He had a long list of reasons to hate him. He was a threat on a street level, while Pac jeopardized their reputation in the rap industry, hurting their business and basically crushing the player, gangster and king image that Big had created while Pac was in prison. Biggie was the main artist on Bad Boy, writing lyrics for multiple artists, including Puffy himself. He was carrying the label, writing entire albums for people. But now, because of the beef, he had writer's block. It was hard for him to work. That's why they wanted to focus on other artists, people who can write their own lyrics, like the Larks and Mace, for example. But at the time, they were nobodies compared to Biggie, the king of New York. Puff didn't even know if the Larks or Mace would go platinum. He was in the studio with them every day and realized that they could never replace Biggie. They were trying to give Biggie time and space so that he can relax and clear his head, come back with the drive, energy and focus to finish his album. But it seemed like Pac wouldn't stop to attack them, and it was messing up Big mentally.
I agree with you, Larry.
And it was only getting worse. Now he was threatening to kill babies.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't like how she said nigga like that. I felt some type of way when she said that shit. Hello, we gotta trade her. I'm gonna let it slide this time. I feel some type of way she said nigga.
So Puffy wanted to put an end to it. That's why Pac was on the hit list as well. Puffy was worried and super nervous. A few days later, in July '96, there was another turning point for the feud between the Southsiders and the Mob Peru. An altercation took place in the Foot Locker store at the Lakewood Mall in Lakewood, California, which involved a group of Southside Crips and several Mob Peru members, including the Death Row associate Trayvon Lane, who got assaulted by the Crip Orlando Baby Lane Anderson and his people. Trayvon Lane was knocked out and Orlando tried to snatch his chain. I spoke about this incident in my Pac murder documentary. Make sure to check it out if you want to hear more details. There were more incidences between the Southside Crips and the Mob Peru which are covered in that video. Trayvon's Death Row medallion was a gift from Suge Knight, so that was like a declaration of war. Suge and everyone associated with the Death Row label, including several Mob Peru members, were blaming Puffy and Bad Boy for that incident. Cause that's when they heard the rumors about a $10,000 to $75,000 bounty placed on Death Row medallions by Puffy, who they thought was trying to use the friction between the Southsiders and the Mob Peru to his advantage by starting a gang war on the West Coast. So Puff was pulling strings on the East Coast, making people on the West Coast fight against each other. All he had to do now is sit back and watch the show, while Compton Crips were out hunting Death Row members, thinking they can get an easy $10,000 to $75,000 from Puffy. When Pac heard about it, he thought that the beef had turned into a war now, not just a battle between two rap labels. People who had nothing to do with the music industry were getting involved now. His enemies were now attacking his label and everything he stood for. And he blamed himself, thinking that he was responsible for it. Just because of him, they're trying to attack all his homies. So there was no turning back now. Innocent people and bystanders were getting hurt just because the enemy wanted some form of payback. After the chain snatching incident, there were several shootings between the Mob Peru and the Southsiders.
Damn.
The people from Death Row thought it was extremely disrespectful and provocative. It infuriated Suge, Pac, and the rest of the Death Row family, especially after it got physical. To most people in the industry, it was just a
What's up, Danielle? Appreciate you coming in.
At Larry Johnson N3E.
Give me a hell yeah.
Said.
What?
Larry, the hell you laugh, Larry?
Regular rap beef. But the whole feud involved gang rivalries, multiple shootings, bounties put on people's heads, threats, verbal and physical assaults. Things that are poorly documented and barely spoken about. They were playing mind games on each other, playing dirty, hitting people where it hurts the most, attacking from every angle possible. And Puffy was the first to fold under the pressure. The first one to put out a hit on the leaders of the opposite side.
I just want to punch his
The
head
people
one
from
time.
Death Row were fully aware of that. Suge and Pac knew that bounty hunters from all around the US were coming for them. For Death Row and the Mob Peru gang members, it was decided that the next time they see Orlando, it was on. That they would get their revenge by physically attacking him. My name is Scrap. And unfortunately,
Hold on, twin. Hold on. You little Miley motherfucker. What's up, Scrap? I hope you're doing alright. I appreciate you coming in live today. I appreciate you.
At Larry Johnson N3E said, "The South is in the building, stand up."
Let me know where y'all from, chat. Let me know where y'all from, man.
Next time they saw each other was in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand when Pac was present. But until then, they were keeping an eye out for the Southsiders, making sure that Pac always has security around him. Because the Crips would try to approach him on numerous shows.
At Danielle Newsom
Around the same time, Dr. Dre appeared on the cover of the July '96 issue of the Source magazine, making disrespectful comments about Tupac while giving props to Biggie. He was basically saying that people like Pac who use the East Coast West Coast feud to sell records are talentless, and that the East Coast has more talented MCs.
Minnesota.
The interview was also named after Biggie's upcoming album Life After Death. And this, of course, infuriated Pac.
I gotta give y'all shit. Y'all see the shout out. Shout out to Mississippi. Shout out to Albany, Georgia. Hey, I went to Albany, Georgia. I went to Job Corps out there. Y'all motherfucking violence hell out there. I ain't gonna lie to you, twin. You know what? I don't know about now, but then. Oh, Lord. Shout out to Albany, Georgia.
But the part that upset him the most is him, as his ex-label boss, saying that Biggie is laughing at him, sitting in a jacuzzi counting his money,
New Orleans
not worrying about anything Pac has to say.
New Orleans 7 Ward.
Yeah, Florida.
At Danielle Newsom 662 said, "Just did 20 years in federal prison." At Larry Johnson N3E said, "Florida's in the building." At
Shout out to the killers
said,
"She did 20 years for who?"
Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York.
At Larry Johnson N3E said, "Jody, welcome."
Brooklyn. Hey, you from New York? Hold on, you one of the YNs or you got them old school? You know what I'm saying? You an OG. Let me know something. What you got from Brooklyn? Let me know, cause I need facts on this shit. In New York, they would really like this. I need to know. I appreciate y'all coming in. Y'all, New York is crazy. Mississippi is crazy. Florida is real crazy. They're damn south side. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all, bro.
At Danielle Newsom 662 said, "Went in 2005, got out in 2025.
Okay.
At Danielle Newsom 662 said, "Drugs."
Okay.
At BKLWNKD
Old school, bet.
said,
I'm gonna need your knowledge.
Old school.
Wisdom on you. But I'm glad you. I'm glad you out. Daniel.
Said, "Really like what?"
What you mean by that? Really like what? What you mean by that? But then I'm glad you out. You know what I'm saying? It's a new chapter. You know what I'm saying? Get back on the grind. You know what I'm saying? God is in your
At
favor.
Danielle Newsom 662 said,
I'm
"Lost
sorry
my
to hear
mother on the last week before I came home."
I'm sorry to hear that, baby.
I think Biggie is doing the right thing by not responding to Ish. He's kicking it. Why should he respond? He's chilling and making
I don't know
money.
what I'll do.
Nobody
You know
knows
what I'm
what the F he's doing.
I'll probably go
If
goddamn
he ain't
crazy. I
happy
ain't
with
gonna
his
care.
wife,
At
he
Danielle
has girls
Newsom
around that's
662
just doing what the F he wants them to
said,
do. He's happy
homeless.
as F, sitting in
now.
the jacuzzi, reading what so-and-so said about him and chilling. The same thing with me. I'll be sitting in the jacuzzi with a bottle of Cristal, laughing at
Jackie
mother
Richards
effers that's out there talking about me.
said,
This really
"I'm
struck a
from
nerve with Pac.
NYC. Are we
And
really
he
like
decided
what?"
to record another album called
I'm
Machiavelli
saying
the
back,
Dawn.
like,
Killer-
I'm talking about like back in the day. Y'all really riding for Biggie and shit. It was like East Coast, West Coast shit. Like it
At
really,
Danielle
like, he
Newsom
really king,
662
really
said, "Don't know what to do."
Damn, I wish I was one of them big time streamers. They had a lot of money and shit, man. I would have hit
At
your
Danielle
ass
Newsom 662 Said. Yes now.
Hey, where you watching me from? I wish I was a big old stripping had a lot of money. I would have goddamn came and gave you some money. I ain't gonna lie to you, twin.
Illuminati's 7-Day Theory.
What's up for this?
Dissing every rapper that was talking slick about him or appeared to be siding with Biggie. Even though he was still not done putting out singles for his last album, All Eyes on Me. All Eyes on Me came out 5 months ago and he's already working on the next one. Without this Dre interview and the Bad Boy Mixtape Volume 4, we might have not gotten the Killuminati album. Because he was actually working on the One Nation album at the time.
Oh, I'm
which
young,
he wanted
but
to put out after he was done promoting All Eyes on Me.
Danielle Newsom,
because his plan after All Eyes on Me was to drop multiple group albums.
Athens, Georgia.
The One Nation album and the Outlaw Immortals album. And while working on those, he wanted to put out as many singles from All Eyes on Me as possible. Because that album was filled with bangers. 27 songs. So he wanted to put out as many music videos as possible. He wasn't really thinking of doing another solo album.
Don't worry about it.
That was planned for maybe 97. 96 was All Eyes on Me, and 97 was supposed to be the next one.
You gonna keep
but
fighting?
now, after reading this interview,
662.
all of a sudden he wants to go back into war mode, pushing his plans of making peace with the East Coast to the side.
Larry Johnson,
he wanted to finish it later, maybe in 97. Two of Pac's biggest enemies, Dre and Biggie, made peace and gave each other shoutouts. And Pac was worried that Dre would produce for his next album, Life After Death.
She got me all sad. Shit, I can't.
At Danielle Newsom 662.
You don't fuck my whole goddamn movie.
Need help.
You need help. I wish I could help you though. She had that here. She for real. But
at Danielle Newsom 662. Said. Lost without my mother.
Lost without your mother. You got some money? You need some money? Shit, she buy $40. Shit. I don't help your head. You know what I'm saying? You just got out. You probably don't know about Cash App and shit. Let me know.
Getting the best producers from the East Coast and the best producers on the West Coast to do his album. Because Pac knew that Biggie's album Ready to Die had way better beats than his previous albums. And Biggie used to tell him that he needs better production. That's why the beats on Me Against the World were superior to the ones on his previous album.
At
Biggie even introduced him to a couple of producers. Dre had only produced one beat for All Eyes on Me, which was Can't See Me.
At Danielle Newsom 662. Said.
Tupac versus Biggie.
First Without Her. At Larry Johnson N3E. Said. Danielle, I feel you. I lost my mother 5 years ago, but we got to keep pushing. There's no other way around it.
Fast, Larry.
At Lazy Journalist. Said. Why Biggie pick up?
You said why Biggie pick up? What you mean by that, Lazy?
At Danielle Newsom 662. Said. Her birthday is in 2.
Damn, in 2 days? I'm sorry, baby. You make me all emotional and
at
shit.
Lazy Journalist.
One out of 27 songs.
Said.
And Can't See Me had one of the best beats on the album. So Pac was afraid that Biggie would get multiple songs on the level of Can't See Me and California Love on his album. Because he was a hit machine. Dre and Pac together were able to make a game-changing song. Now how would Biggie sound on a Dre beat? Imagine them dropping a song on the level of California Love, making some type of East Coast West Coast collaboration with him, winning over the fans from both coasts,
N3E.
while half of the East Coast hates and resents Pac. Dre
Lazy,
didn't even allow Pac to put the original version of California Love on.
You know the conspiracy
anyway,
shit.
nigga. The fuck?
At Lazy Journalist.
Like, we gonna give a damn, you gone. Like,
Said.
we gonna give a damn.
Why is his picture up?
All Eyes on Me.
At Lazy
Pac
Journalist.
saw him as a traitor, thinking that he left Death Row and the West Coast to work with the enemies on the East Coast, supplying them with ammo to shoot back at Pac in the middle of the East Coast-West Coast war. So he had all these different scenarios in his head what they would do next, fearing that they might be able to outrun him, while he's trying to give underground rappers and his group the Outlaws a platform, wasting his time helping others instead of building up his solo career.
My name is Chris
So he
Williams.
wanted to bomb first before they could make the next move. On July 4th, Tupac, the Outlaw, Snoop Dogg, and the Dog Pound performed at the House of Blues and dissed Biggie. Not only did they perform the song Hit 'Em Up on stage, but he also paused the show to hold a speech. Before rapping the final song, Two of America's Most Wanted with Snoop,
ladies,
he had a few words for Biggie on stage.
Too, and it's hard on here like every day, but ladies, y'all gotta remember she's still here, she never left. At Larry Johnson N3E said,
Snoop
well,
Dogg
Kid
backed
Rock,
him up
then
the whole
lazy.
time Pac spoke on Biggie. So all the things he said about him being cool with
I appreciate
Biggie
y'all giving her that,
and
man.
Pac
She
being
needed
the
that,
only
man.
one on
Word.
death row who really dissed him
I really
were
wish I could
untrue.
help her though. Like,
He was just
bad, though.
rewriting history. The entire death row label was in F Biggie, F Diddy, and F Bad Boy mode.
I ain't even trying to make peace. Oh, come on. The players are on this side. You can try to play that gangster shit, but we MOB for mother off real.
Further proof that Pac was rapping MOB during his final months, using his ties to Shook's gang to prove that he's really living the life he's rapping about, which Biggie supposedly didn't. The whole thing about the fake player image, Biggie throwing up quote-unquote fake gang signs to look gangster, Pac was pointing them out one by one. He wanted to make people see who's real
you
and
welcome
who's fake.
Brody. At Danielle Newsom 662 said, got blisters from walking around on these feet.
Pac also made fun
damn,
of
baby.
Biggie's wife, joking about her pregnancy and Biggie losing sleep over whether or not he's the father. Cause there were rumors going around that Pac is actually the father.
His wife pregnant, getting weight like an expected.
At Larry Johnson N3E said, I meant to say lazy can kick rocks.
You good, bro.
He's also
I know what you meant.
wondering
That's why I didn't
why
say that.
Biggie remained quiet like a quote-unquote church mouse after the release of Hit 'Em Up, instead of
Danielle
dissing him
Newsom
back like you would
662
expect the King of New York to do.
said, I'm Danielle Brother Scrap.
4 days later, he started recording his next album, Machiavelli the Dawn Killuminati
Daniel's brother,
7-Day
Scrap,
Theory,
Scrap.
which was supposed to include multiple battle records to strike back at all his enemies on the East Coast. Biggie and Puffy were hereby
Danielle
not the
Newsom
main targets since
662
Hit 'Em Up remained unanswered.
said,
And there was no sign
I'm
from the
just
Bad
using
Boy
her number.
camp that Biggie was going to respond anytime
Oh
soon.
man, so you
Because
you hold
Biggie and
dude.
Puffy had
I thought
previously
you hold it
said
the whole
that
time.
Life After Death would drop on July 4th, the day Pac dissed him at the House of Blues. And on MTV, he said that people can look forward to a response from him, which was supposed to be on the album. Now it was July 8th. The album didn't drop on the planned date. Biggie wanted to record a couple more songs to make sure that the album is better than anything released in '96, including Pac's All Eyes on Me. That's how he wanted to compete with people, by dropping the better music. So he postponed the album to October 31st on Halloween, meaning in 3 more months. And Pac was
At
really
Danielle
looking
Newsom
forward to it.
662
In order to taunt him and show him
said,
that he's superior, he
I
wanted
am.
to do an entire album
At
within
Danielle
3
Newsom
days.
662
In the beginning, it was supposed to be
said,
called 3-Day Theory,
I'm
showing
47.
Biggie that he can make classic albums in just a couple of days, while he
sorry
takes
he didn't
years
have
to
to
do
say
one
that.
album. Pac kept baiting him with
He
little
went to no
jabs here
shelter or
and there.
anything like that?
He wanted to battle this guy badly. He wanted to focus on Biggie, but now people like Jay-Z, Nas, Mobb Deep, and Dr. Dre got
What's it
involved.
called?
And that's why this album was supposed to go at them. He still had a couple of jabs for
Can't
Biggie.
think of it right now.
One
At
of the
Danielle
songs
Newsom
which was supposed to be on
662
the album was Friends,
said,
recorded on July 8th.
went in at 26.
In verse 3, he subliminally dissed Biggie and his wife Faith Evans.
Can you imagine me in player mode? Rush the tricks I got. Ready for a booty go up your tip.
He keeps repeating the phrase, I effed your B-word on multiple songs to bait Biggie, to provoke a response from him. And he also uses the word player again and
At
again.
Larry Johnson
Because Pac saw
N3E
Biggie as a fake player,
said,
and Biggie saw Pac as a
Scrap,
player
I'm
hater.
glad you're home.
One is
no
the
one needs
faker
to be
and the
locked
other
in
the
a cage
hater.
that long and my
Pac then
condolences.
speculates what it was that made Faith Evans open her legs for him. And then he jokes about screaming West Side in his moment of pleasure.
Was it ye or the fame? My dick of the game. Bet I scream West Side when I came.
The rest of the song is Pac describing what he did to Faith in bed, sharing their most intimate moments. That same day, he recorded the song Against All Odds, which is one of the most revealing songs about the East Coast-West Coast War, more specifically about the Quad Studio shooting, and the people who set him up. The repercussions Tupac would have suffered for recording the track will never be known. Pac himself said that he'll probably be murdered for the things that he said. He spazzed out on Puffy, Jimmy Henchman, Haitian Jack, and Stretch. Check out my video on the Quad Studio shooting to see what he said about Jack and Jimmy.
I mean him.
Because in this video, we will only focus on what he said about Puff and Stretch.
Dressed in fatigues, black jeans and boots. Disappeared in the crowd. All you seen was truth.
Tupac saw the Quad Studio setup as a declaration of war. The enemy was dressed in fatigues, black jeans and boots during the Quad Studio incident. They dressed exactly like Biggie's homies, according to Tupac. And that's why he dressed in a similar way when he appeared at the Soul Train Awards in March '96. He wanted to approach and threaten Biggie the same way the robbers did to him at the Quad Studios. And that's why he referenced it in the beginning of this song, to signal that he's ready for war, aiming at everyone who was involved in the Quad Studio incident.
Hey Brody,
but this
can I
time
add
they're the
you as a
victims
friend?
and Pac is
Really
the one
like
wearing
what
army
you got
fatigues.
going, love
The first person that he mentioned is Puffy, who he challenged to a boxing match for talking slick about him.
Let's be honest, you a punk or you would see me with gloves. But that's just the vibe about me.
I appreciate that, man.
In the April '95 issue of the Vibe magazine, Tupac said that Thug Life is dead, that he's tired of it, that nobody helped him even though the Thug Life movement was all about helping and saving each other. Puffy then responded in the Vibe magazine saying, "I hope that this Thug Life ish is really over. But on the real, if you're gonna be a mother effing thug, you got to live and die a thug. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no jumping in and out of thugism. If that's what you choose to do, you got to go out like that. I ain't no thug. Only thugs I know is dead or in jail. Or about to be." Pac took offense to it, as Puff made him look like a fake thug, actor and pretender. That's why he's telling him to come see him with gloves, have a one-on-one fist fight and see if Pac is really a fake thug. Remember, Jimmy Henchman sent those robbers to discipline Pac, to humble him, and to show that he ain't a tough guy. And now Puff and Big are affirming it, calling him a fake thug. So they felt the same way as Jimmy Henchman, using the same exact words to describe him. And Pac knew that they were still hanging out together. That's why in the next line he said,
And you can tell the people you roll with whatever you want, but you and I know what's going on, don't you?
A lot of people in New York, including Puffy, said that the robbers were only there to take his jewelry, that Pac would have gotten out of that situation unharmed if he hadn't resisted. They even added that it was Pac's fault for getting shot. Jimmy Henchman didn't expect him to react like that. They just wanted his jewelry. So Pac basically asked them, what else did you expect? Reminding them that he was always running around with guns. That's the Pac they got to know. Always fighting back, always strapped. So they shouldn't have been surprised that Pac actually made use of his weapons to defend himself.
I knew you was singing way back. Witness me strapped with Max. Knew I wouldn't play that.
Puffy and his associates knew that Pac had guns on him, and that he would pull them out if someone came at him. So them thinking that it would just be a harmless robbery was delusional, according to Pac. They should have known better.
Be an expert by
they
now,
should have expected nothing else but a shooting. Because Pac was the type of guy.
I can't be an expert because the chat saying this shit ain't some of what he's saying is not true. So you know what I'm saying? I want to read the facts. You know what I'm saying? Y'all been telling me some of his what he been saying is not true. But I'm getting down though. You know what I'm saying? Really, you know what I'm saying? Things
to fight until the very end, instead of giving up and allowing another man to take advantage of him or rob him. Because that's not what he was known for.
Not true, truly.
Pac is known for fighting back and never backing down.
I am staying thug.
Appreciate you coming in, Jay.
He accuses Puffy of getting bribed for keeping his mouth shut about the Quad Studio incident. The same incident where he didn't warn him, even though they were friends. Pac helped Puffy and Biggie wherever he could, gave Big his first shows, and told him how to make popular records, so that him and Puffy can make millions. But they both kept quiet the whole time, even though numerous people like Puff's bodyguard Gene Deal and the assailant Dexter Isaac have said that he knew about the plans of the shooting beforehand.
Touch one of mine on everything I own. I will destroy everything you touch.
Pac also dedicated a few words to his fallen friend Stretch, who chose to hang out with Biggie instead of visiting Pac in prison.
And anything that was down for me, rest of dead. Switch sides, guess his new friends, one of them dead.
When he said switch sides, guess his new friends
The wordplay, oh my god.
wanted him dead, Pac was talking about Biggie and Jimmy Henchman. Stretch chose to hang out with Biggie, who on the other hand chose to hang out with Jimmy Henchman. Pac knew that Jimmy threatened Stretch's mother, so he's trying to imply that Jimmy put out a hit on him since he doesn't have any more use for him. Stretch was the guy relaying messages for Jimmy. And there were also rumors that Stretch was involved in the setup. So now Pac is saying, see, this is what you get for betraying me. You shouldn't have switched sides. Probably murdered for the ish that I said. Implying that Stretch got killed because of Pac's comments in the April '95 issue of the Vibe magazine, where he basically implied that he's a traitor.
Probably be murdered for this I said. I bring the real, be a legend, breathing the dead.
On July 10th, Pac recorded the diss track Watch Your Mouth, which was also supposed to be on the Killuminati album.
Prepare for panic when I unleash. Niggas is lucky if they leave here in one piece. Queen Puff never had no heart to
Queen, yeah, that we gonna call that motherfucker.
That same day, he recorded the song Thug Nature.
No I never heard it.
According to the producer QD3, Pac's beef with Biggie prevented him from collaborating with the king of pop, Michael Jackson.
At Larry Johnson N3E, platform is the S*********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** with
I appreciate
homie.
you, bro, for fucking with me.
At Nsibisalandala 9381
Queen
said,
Combs.
Queen Combs face with
love you,
tears of
motherfucker.
joy.
Yeah, Queen Combs.
At Larry Johnson
That boy
N3E
That boy wanna be a real girl.
said, Queen Combs rolling on the floor laughing,
But wanna
rolling
be
on
real
the
girl.
floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the
Because the
floor
song
laughing.
itself was supposed to be paying. Pac had already recorded a song called They Don't Give a F About Us, which was paying homage to MJ's song
Oh, Michael
They
Jackson.
Don't
Why
Really
you had to
Care
pick a
About
side,
Us.
Michael Jackson? You ain't had nothing to do with that shit. We would love to hear a pick it up.
He wanted
Damn.
Michael to sing the hook of Thug Nature, and the song was supposed to become one of the singles for the Killuminati album. Cause the year prior, Biggie had done a song with him called This Time Around, back when he was crowned the King of New York. Now that Pac was on top, he felt like he deserved to be on a song with the King of Pop.
Yeah,
Just
Michael.
like Biggie in 95.
I like Michael too.
Cause the Biggie song was marketed as a collaboration between the King of Pop and the King of Rap. And now that Pac had dethroned him, he thought it was only right for him to get a chance to collaborate with MJ. QD3 arranged a meeting with MJ at the Neverland Ranch to talk about a possible collaboration. But MJ shut that down, saying that he likes Biggie. So he stayed loyal to Biggie during that whole beef and believed that he's better than Pac. Tupac was of course
Mike Jackson
upset
gonna fall
about
out.
it. And
Already.
these two had history.
And I
'Cause
love
in
Michael Jackson. He gonna fall
1994,
out.
Pac was called to the studio to come do a song with Michael Jackson for his upcoming double album. When he got there, MJ was nowhere to be found. They wanted him to lay down a verse, but Pac didn't want to do that. He wanted MJ to come to the studio and at least say hello to him.
No, this shit
They
right.
told Pac that that's not going to happen. He shall just lay down a verse and then leave. Pac supposedly felt disrespected and then walked out on them. A year later, MJ then decided to put Biggie on the album, on the song This Time Around.
Bitch.
By that time, Pac was in prison and Biggie was the biggest thing in hip-hop. So Pac and Napoleon from the Outlaws assumed that MJ did that on purpose, cause by that time the two had already started beefing. And now fast forward to 96, MJ tells QD3 that he prefers Biggie. So he thought MJ did that because Pac walked out on him 2 years ago in '94. Now he's getting his revenge by siding with Biggie, and Pac ended up doing the song without him. A song with MJ would have definitely boosted his album sales, cause collaborating with MJ did help Biggie's career quite a bit, and Pac was a little mad that unlike Biggie, he didn't get to do a song with him. It would have definitely helped to sell the album, cause Illuminati didn't really have as many hits as All Eyes on Me. The album was more serious. But of course he wanted it to sell more than his previous one. A collaboration with MJ would have definitely boosted his sales. 2 days later, on July 12th, he then recorded the song Bomb First, where he's also taking shots at several rappers.
Still fucking talking, you chicken still breathing. Pick off the roaches. I'm a bad boy killer. Jay-Z got to looking out for Mob Deep when I find you.
Young Noble from the Outlaws then takes aim at Biggie and Nas for supposedly lying about being drug kingpins and the King of New York.
Damn.
They were both battling for the crown back then.
At
I covered this in my Biggie and Nas beef documentary.
Said, that man Michael Jackson was a menace faced with tears of joy you beef.
In
With
the
him he'll
uncut
buy your
version
whole
of Bomb
catalog,
First,
ask
Pac
the
rants about his
Beatles.
enemies in the
Eminem damn
outro,
face with
saying
tears
that there's
of
no
joy,
coming back for
broken
them,
heart.
and that they have no option but to stay quiet like a church mouse.
He ain't gonna argue with your ass. He gonna I'm gonna do this shit. Then he'll wait for years too to do that shit. But a Michael Jackson and Tupac, a Tupac collab? Oh my god. We're gonna have to do that shit on AI or something. Gotta get on AI or something. Oh, that shit be hard as hell.
At Larry Johnson N3E said, Michael was the real gangster.
He also did a song called War Games, which is mainly aimed at Nas for saying fake thug in his song The Message.
Said,
but Puffy was calling Pac a fake
truly
thug
Holly
too,
under
and
God
that's what he
real
addressed on the
thugs
song.
know what's up. Pac was a character but turned to thug to keep divided, moved like a cupcake when you really pay attention, but our creator gave High some knowledge. At
On
Jalen's
July 29th,
HONESTY
Pac recorded Me and My Girlfriend,
said,
which was not only
most
inspired
don't
by
really
Nas' song I
listen.
Gave You
He
Power,
thought he was leaving
but it
the
might have
police
also been
to
done
seeing they
to
all
spite
the
Biggie,
police.
since he has a song called Me and My B on his album Ready to Die. Me and My B and Me and My Girlfriend. Was that a coincidence? Both song concepts are different.
You say
the only things that are similar are the titles and the fact that both of the songs are dedications to their girlfriends. But Pac also added a double meaning behind it by making the song about a gun, just like Nas did on I Gave You Power. All three, Pac, Nas, and Biggie, were competing at the time and dissing each other. So Pac might have done it with the purpose of showing them that he mastered their styles and that he's the overall better songmaker. He also gave everyone who was there during the Quad Studio incident a shout out in the handwritten liner notes of the Illuminati album. I dedicate this to Jack the Snitch Agnon for ordering the hit, to Todd for shooting me, to Puffy, Big, Stretch, Lil Sean, Jimmy Henchman, and whoever else remained silent while quietly conspiring my downfall.
Ow.
I thank you. I thank Faith for the greatest weapon ever.
At
Her low
Jalen's
self-esteem and
HONESTY.
beat up pussy. Another
Said,
jab at Big, whose wife
all
Faith
of
supposedly opened her legs to Pac, trying to rub it in his face again and again, hoping that Biggie finally snaps and goes on the offensive. Cause he really wanted to do a back and forth. He didn't say much about Biggie on this album. He was waiting for his response.
At
He
Jalen's
also gives a shout out to the
HONESTY.
Junior Mafia member Lil Kim,
Said,
while once again belittling Biggie,
Bringing crime
to
rate
Lil
up.
Kim, or fat ass weave wearing, Biggie short stubby D sucking Kim for being nobodies. So Pac knew about Lil Kim's relationship with Biggie. It's possible that Faith told him about it. cause she informed him about them being
At
separated.
Mr. X
But
_I
there must
am
have been a reason for
7241
Pac constantly going at Lil'
said,
Kim, who up
"You
until this
should
point
listen to
hadn't said
Tupac
anything about him.
lyrics on the
Pac
song
didn't even
Niggas
see her
Done
the day of the quad
Changed
studio
with
incident.
Richie Rich."
But that's usually how you hurt a man's pride, by going at his woman.
Like, I won't.
He did it again on July 29th on the song
You don't
Street
have
Fame.
music? What album is on? I just got Better Days though.
The reason for him to constantly go at Lil' Kim is either the assumption that it would hurt and trigger Biggie the most, since she was one of his loved ones, or because Pac heard the disses on the demo version of Lil' Kim's song Big Mama Thing, which should have came out on August 1st on DJ Mr. C's The Physical tape. Maybe Pac got the tape earlier in July.
Is it rather
That
be your
would have
nigga?
explained
Rather be your
why he
nigga?
went at
Rather
her
be your
instead of
end?
Biggie. And Big had told her not to diss him, but she did it regardless behind his back. Not only that,
Is it
but she
featuring
also
Tupac?
dissed Big's wife, Faith Evans,
Oh, I see,
which he would have never allowed her to do.
I dedicate this song
I'm
to
about to
you.
download it.
Like R. Kelly in them twin pops in your belly.
If Faye have twins, she probably have 2 pops.
Like R. Kelly in them twin pops in your belly.
Making the same joke about Faith giving birth to Pac's kids as Biggie on Brooklyn's Finest. The entire second verse is going at Faith, cause the two were beefing at the time. Faith once again caught Biggie cheating with Kim. Faith was pregnant but still decided to fight her, beat her up and stole her wig.
Damn.
Lil'
Look,
Kim
you got beat
used the
up.
whole incident with Pac against her, trying to show Biggie that
Lil'
she's
Kim right there.
unfaithful and not worthy of being his wife. Lil' Kim was Biggie's side chick the whole time, and she wanted to rank up and be Biggie's main chick. In order to prove her loyalty towards Biggie,
she
she
look bad
decided
as
to
fuck,
diss
right?
both Pac and Faith.
Jesus.
But again, Biggie didn't want her to do that. In verse 3, she's taking shots at Pac.
Oh yeah, who shot ya? Who knows what they got ya?
Who shot me but your pumps didn't finish? Who shot your mouth ties like Sinatra? Who shot me but your pumps didn't finish?
They got ya. Fed up.
I knew she made this record.
At Sibisalandala 9381 said, CIA definitely has a hand
There are
in
3
influencing
explanations
hip
on why
hop.
this
If you
version
like
of
a
Big
J.
Mama
Cole
Thing
type,
didn't
no
land on
recording
Lil' Kim's
label will
album
pay
Hardcore
you no
in November
mind. This
96.
thing is a rabbit
First one
hole.
being
The
Biggie's
ghouls /
disapproval of the
Masons
song.
are involved.
She recorded the
Yeah.
song behind his
Okay, y'all
back
going deep,
and
deep.
dissed not only Pac but also his wife Faith, even though Big told her not to.
Y'all getting deep,
Biggie
deep, man.
supposedly got mad and the two had a fight. He supposedly told
Y'all know
her to
this shit,
redo
man.
the
It's so
song,
much.
inviting Jay-Z to come lay
That's why I
down the
used to
verse.
rap.
The
I
second
found out this shit.
explanation is that they had to change it
Hell
after
no.
Pac's
Fuck
death
that.
to not make it seem
I ain't
like
gonna turn
Bad
against
Boy is
God,
dissing
you know
a
what I'm
dead
saying?
man. The third
For no fucking
explanation
fame and
came
shit,
from
fuck that
Kim
shit.
herself. It was actually
doing
a
all that
diss
shit.
record,
I don't want
and
that
then it
bad
was
to
a
me.
couple things they wanted to change but couldn't clear. A situation
My
that
day- my
happened
last
at the
day on
time,
earth is- I
so
wanna go to
we
heaven,
put
bro.
Jay-Z on it
You know what I'm saying?
because the second verse
know
was
about
crazy.
that.
The record had leaked before the album came out. And then when a record leaked, it wasn't really a good thing. It wasn't a bad thing because the world would go crazy. But it wasn't a good thing as far as financial sales for the record company. She didn't even mention the third verse where she's dissing Pac, cause that one was changed too. She only mentioned verse 2, the one where she's
Why
going
she
at
changed it?
Faith.
Biggie
She
made the change?
removed the last 2 verses and recorded a new one, replacing the verse where she's dissing Faith with Jay's verse and the verse where she's going at Pac with the new one. On August 2nd, Pac recorded the song Catchin' Fillins, which contains more jabs at Biggie, clowning him for still not having the courage to respond properly. Implying that Big should have thought twice before crossing him, saying that he's afraid of him, while Pac himself is fearless, cause he is the one that everybody is scared of. They are terrified of his presence. Not even the king of New York has enough courage to face him. Talking about the song Hit 'Em Up, which completely silenced him. 2 months have passed and there's still no response. Now Pac is making songs every couple weeks, making fun of Biggie for being as quiet as a church mouse ever since he released the song Hit 'Em Up. On August 4th, Pac recorded the outro to his song Toss It Up, in which he's once again
At
dissing Lil' Kim, Biggie, and Puffy.
9381 said, "Yeah, Jody, I'm happy that you didn't get influenced. I'm happy your soul's still intact, cause those contracts be weird, like how can you tell an artist they can't thank God on their songs?"
Motherfuckers, you wanna be rich, bro. They gotta pay them motherfuckers back. You gotta pay the record, you gotta pay the goddamn label, the motherfucker make the video, you gotta pay all them back. You get the little chump chain. Then if you don't sell amount of albums, you still gonna be in debt. Like I can take your ass up, we can take the $1,000 out. These motherfuckers sick out here, bro. The world's fucked up, to be honest, bro. That's why I don't really praise celebrities like that, bro. All y'all motherfuckers puppets. You know what I'm saying? They be puppets and devil worship. That's why I be like, man, y'all niggas.
Asking people how non-players like Biggie can make player songs like Big Papa, One More Chance, and Players Anthem.
BG.
There are multiple vocal tracks overlapping in the outro, so it's a little hard to hear what he's saying. He's addressing multiple topics at once.
Hated the fact that all of it was going on. He loved
At Lord
Tupac
Buddhist
and everybody
2020
from the West that he had known.
said,
He loved them.
Diddy shot Collision and AK at Biggie and
Talking about Puffy's
At Lord
numerous
Buddhist
attempts to
2020
squash the beef, Pac is saying
said,
that he doesn't want peace and that
"Look,
it's time
guys,
for
at
war,
the bulk at holes
making fun of them for having lower record sales. On August 12th, Pac and Suge decided to do a video for the song Toss It Up.
So you saying,
singer to
you talking about they was in Cali?
Illuminati. The location for the video was a beach.
You think
There's
Pope was
footage
in
of them
the
joking about sleeping with
car
Biggie's wife.
and shot at Biggie?
Biggie here. Okay, but I did what I did you to you, but I did you. You told me.
That motherfucker fucked up, Chad. I don't know what he said.
Earlier that day, he recorded the song Just Like Daddy, in which he once again dissed Stretch,
At
who again tried to sleep with Pac's
9381
ex-girlfriend Desiree Smith
said,
by pretending to relay
"And
messages
it's not
for
a
him from
contract,
prison,
it'd be a
while Pac
lone
was
face
locked up
with
in
tears of
95,
joy. They won't
pretending
want that
to
money
still be in
back
touch
plus
with him,
interest."
even though he never came to visit him in prison.
Wow, I'm
At
trying
Lord
to get that
Buddhist
Then informed
2020
Pac about this incident,
said,
and Pac mentioned it in the song
"The
Just Like
bullet
Daddy,
hole's hole
which was
comes from the
dedicated to
front of
Desiree.
Biggie."
They got a video on it? I need to know.
A day later, on August 13th,
We need to look
Pac
at
and the Outlaws
Biggie
recorded
too.
the song Runnin' on E, on which he
Y'all
dissed the
goddamn
Bad Boy Camp in the
Scooby-Doo
hook.
game today, bro. You know what? I ain't never thought about this shit.
On August 22nd, Biggie
y'all
was
saying it
interviewed
wasn't
by
another
Uncle
car.
Luke at
It was
Little
Diddy's
Caesar's
car.
birthday party
Oh,
at a
the best
club.
you saying, bro.
He was asked about the Tupac
Damn.
situation, to which Biggie responded that he ain't mad at him for trying to make money
I don't
by
believe he
all
shot
means
at him, though. I believe he had
necessary,
somebody
and
else
that they'll
with the car.
eventually see
I
each
believe
other.
I look at this like this, man. We all trying to be rich niggas, man. You know what I'm saying? Right. That man doing what he gotta do, and I'm gonna do what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Right. Plain and simple. When we see each other, we gonna see each other. Children, I'm gonna make good music, and he gonna make whatever he make. You know what I'm saying? Whatever is whatever. I wanna be an entrepreneur, man. I wanna be $1 million nigga, man.
He also added that Pac wouldn't have dissed him if he was broke, implying that he's only dissing him because he's rich and on top of the game.
At the end of the day, it's all about them money. If I was a broke motherfucker, he wouldn't have nothing to say about money, right? So what you say? What you got something to say about that little scene?
I ain't got nothing to say about the dude, man. We gonna do our thing. Let him keep yapping about us. We gonna have a bit some money.
Tupac did an interview as well 2 days later on August 24th. It was with Rob Marriott, and he once again spoke about Biggie, explaining how much he did for him before the fame, and how much Biggie learned from him.
I possess his soul. Here's that, Bobby. They know that I was the truth involved with Biggie's success. I was the biggest help.
At Lord Footage 2020
you know how much he borrowed from me.
said,
You know how I used to stop my shows.
shots let off when Diddy Driver pulled off moments later Diddy jumped out with the AK.
How I used to share. I used to share my experiences in the game and my lessons and my rules and my knowledge on the game with him.
That's
you know what I
crazy.
mean? He owed me more. He owed me more than a turn of head and act like he didn't know he was about to blow my head off.
Would you get that now? What
He then talks about how Biggie acted like a quote-unquote mouse in front of him, acting like he can't help him out after the shooting, can't tell him who did it, but then later claiming to be the king of New York, the Don, the guy that holds the entire rap game in a chokehold,
said,
while forgetting about his mentor
no
and teacher
car was
Tupac,
on the passenger
who
side
for
of
once
Biggie's
asked for something
SUV.
in return, after all the things he did for him.
You all about be about. But for me to know, like 3 weeks ago this happened, and then 3 weeks later the album's coming out, and I'm done. And now, but you don't know who shot me. It's from your neighborhood, and I got found out by myself, and I don't even call myself a dub, just a capo from the west side. And I'm on the east side of jail, and I know who touched me, and I know everything that happened. That's power. And he didn't know, so he was faking. And I was mad about that.
And then he talks about how people believed his fake player image, which revolutionized the rap game. All of a sudden, everybody wanted to become a player just like Biggie, after seeing him on top.
At
And they forgot that Tupac was the originator of that style.
said,
The one Biggie learned it
Sub
from.
2 from Sydney,
The true player
Australia,
Biggie
right
wanted to be
facing
like.
fist, left facing fist.
I don't know how to say prayer, but Australia is crazy.
At Lord Footage 2020
International animal for
said, they pulled away from the curb.
You said they pulled away from the crowd?
Like, according
Like,
to
where
Pac.
did you get these facts from? Is it a video? No, I'm asking. Lord. Like, I want to look at the video.
I couldn't believe that people was buying into the player image. And I wanted to bring back that reality. I can't never, nobody can never
At Jalen's HONESTY
and I'm a heavyweight champion.
said,
that's why it's so raw to watch
all
this
set
battle
up to
lion, 'cause
keep
I'm a
the
little
people
skinny,
under
battling
control.
3 times my size. Well, Biggie's not a player. He's never been. He's never had until he got 6 feet outside. That's a trick. That's not a
He want
player.
that nigga master.
That's not pop-up.
All type of shit.
So my point was to prove him wrong. I took everything that he glamorized.
At Jalen's HONESTY
He also explained why he believes that Big ain't
and
responding,
divide.
saying that Biggie knows that everything about Pac is
Hey, man,
real.
I appreciate you coming
I mean, he always called him the realest guy in the
Australia's
industry.
crazy.
That's the reason why he even admired him so much and tried to be like him. The same thing that he admired is now coming to haunt him. Biggie has to compete with that same level of realness he always admired. And according to Pac, he can't keep up with him, as you can't beat realness with fakeness. That's why Biggie couldn't respond according to Pac.
So I know people pretending, and I know it. The same thing they love about me, they gotta admire in me, but they forgot. Biggie forgot that same shit that made him want to kick it with me. It's the same shit that's whooping his ass right now. And that's why when he talks, you can hear it in the interviews. He want to say, I wish I could take this shit back, but he can't. He already committed himself to lying. So now all you can do is act like you don't know what the fuck is going on. And listen to it. Think, people have to think. If somebody just that shit, this was happening for real, would this be your reaction? Unless you was guilty.
He also talked about Biggie saying that the reason why he ain't responding to the diss track Hit 'Em Up is because his friends and people around him told him that the song ain't worth responding to. Cause in the September 96 issue of the Vibe magazine, Biggie said, the whole reason why I was being cool from day one was because of that guy Puff. Cause Puff don't get down like that. He got the streets riled up because he got a little song dissing me. But how would I look dissing him back? My people is like, F that guy. That guy is so much on your D. It don't even make no sense to say anything. This is interesting because everybody around Biggie, including Junior Mafia, Jay-Z and the Lox, said that Biggie told them that he won't respond, and that nobody is making diss records. Maybe Puffy spoke to him while he was in a state of confusion, not knowing what to do, advising him to not respond and to just focus on the music.
I had to make the call to Biggie, and I said, we're not gonna respond. Somebody's gonna get hurt if we respond, because Tupac hit us with Hit 'Em Up, and that joint was cold. We would take your turntables, you played Hit 'Em Up. You know what I'm saying? That's how cold that thing hurt to this day.
I told Big not to respond, so I could understand, because what Big had written for them, like somebody was going, it was going to as bad as it got. No, he didn't record it. He let me know what it was going to be saying, and it was just too much, you know. Sometimes things are just like it's too much.
Pac pointed out how the King of New York all of a sudden became a follower, doing what the people who are supposed to be his followers were telling him, instead of making his own decisions and making them follow him. Implying that Biggie's team shouldn't have the authority to stop Biggie from making response records.
At Larry Johnson N3E said, shout out to Australia from Florida.
Why do your homeboys tell you not to make rhymes when you're shooting pregnant babies in the stomach? You know what I mean? That's why, like, why'd you say that on the end of your record? He's like, how they kids won't grow up, boom, boom. Honestly, I didn't write none of that shit. I didn't write nothing. I'm blowing up on the studio to keep me from really killing me. And that's what came out. But I don't have no mercy in war. They didn't have no mercy. They tried to shoot my fucking balls off. What about my kids?
He then explains how Biggie was able to take over the game while he was locked up, even though he quote-unquote only sold 2 million albums, saying that Death Row wasn't in a good place at the time and that Biggie had it easy. He also explained why he had to go at Biggie, arguing that you always have to go against the one at the top if you want to be the number one, the one that's able to dictate who's successful in the game, by controlling the media, radio stations, and by being well connected in the industry. So that's why only people in Biggie's camp were succeeding, cause Big was in full control.
At
In order for Pac to get his spot back, he had to take down the number one, so that he's in charge and can build up his empire.
South Africa, to let you know the algorithm blessed me with this Connect These Lives You Doing or Fire.
Thank you so much.
At James HONESTY said, we need to come together and really read the law of warfare. Pretty much they have to put in little symbols and all type of other shit, and was kids were still in war, good versus evil.
Can't nobody touch you right now. Maybe next month all of this will be over, but this month I'm taking every moving target out. Because this is a very personal thing for me, and I feel like people should have given me my respect. I was not like this before. I did not attack people. I was not on no East Coast, West Coast. I was the major bridge between the East Coast and the West Coast.
At Larry Johnson N3E said,
Iran got problems, and Iran should know that.
South Africa.
They should know that. Separate yourself from this, and that's what's going to show, and they already do it. I got kids out there. Now, I took over his kingdom.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm about to say that nationwide is on your side.
Ain't like my record ain't selling in New York. And without New York, I vote. You know what I mean? It's like a politician's race. If I lost New York, I won the other state. And that makes me in control. Now I'm the new president for the next 4 years. That's why I'm telling you, when I see Biggie, it's not gonna be like we're gonna attack him every time. I might be in a good mood, and I might not want to be going. This is so minor. This is not about me and Biggie. Everybody keeps talking about it. Y'all making it look bigger than he is.
The rest of the interview with Rob Marriott was in the September 96 issue of the Vibe magazine, which featured Biggie and Puffy on the cover, with the headline East vs. West, Biggie and Puffy break their silence. Pac spoke about Puffy's comments in the Vibe magazine, where he responded to Pac's comment of Thug Life being dead, saying that he really hopes that Thug Life is over, and that you have to live and die a thug, or else you're not a real thug, criticizing Pac for trying to step out of thugism. I lived and almost died for Thug Life. And after that Vibe article, people said, Tupac, I thought Thug Life was dead. Yeah, but read the rest of the article. Puffy, in that letter in the Vibe, gave me some advice that brought me back to the Thug Life-ish. He said you can't be a thug for a second or a minute and get in and out of it. You gotta be in it forever. He didn't mean it as advice at the time. He said it to dampen things. So now, when I'm whooping his mother effing ass and it hurts, and all these people talking about, stop, now. Remember what he told me. These words came out of his mouth. Like mentioned earlier, Biggie and Puffy broke their silence on Tupac, Death Row, and all the East-West friction in the cover story of the same magazine issue, in which they included the Tupac interview with Rob Marriott. Puffy said, I'm hurt a little bit spiritually by all the negativity, by this whole Death Row bad boy. I'm hurt that out of all my accomplishments, it's like I'm always getting my most fame from negative drama. How it got to this point, I really don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Honesty
Why would I set a guy up to get shot?
Said.
If I'ma set a guy up, which I would never do, I ain't gonna be in the country. I'ma be in Bolivia somewhere. This was said in response to Pac claiming that Puffy and Biggie set him up at the Quad Studios. He's telling Pac that he's barking up the wrong tree. He ain't mad at the guys that shot him. He knows where they're at. He knows who shot him. If you ask him, he knows. And everybody in the street knows. And he's not stepping to them. Because he knows that he's not gonna get away with that ish. To me, that's some real sucker ish. Be mad at everybody, man. Don't be using people as scapegoats. We know that he's a nice guy from New York. All ish aside, Tupac is a nice, good-hearted guy. This part right here, everybody in the street knows, is confirmation by Puffy that they all knew who shot him and set him up. And that was Pac's problem with them all along. None of them wanted to tell him, but somehow everybody knew. They told everybody in the streets who did it, but didn't tell Pac. Pac was upset that his old friends didn't see the issue in them telling everybody in the streets what happened and who did it, except the victim.
Yeah.
They withheld information from him, but told everybody else, as if they're picking Jimmy Henchman's side. They still continued their relationship with Jimmy as if nothing happened.
I'm glad you got light.
And Puff saying he's not stepping to them because he knows he's not getting away with that ish, while still being cool with the people who did it, confirmed Pac's whole point. They're not distancing themselves from Jimmy and always talk highly of him while belittling Tupac, telling Pac to stay in his lane and that he's not ready for a powerful guy like Jimmy. That he wouldn't get away with it if he ever decided to step to them.
Just remember what you told me. You said don't go to war unless I got my money right. I got my money
There
right.
was a lot
Now I won't
going
war.
on around the world.
Biggie, on the other hand, took a whole different approach. He sounded way more genuine and good-hearted. You can see that he really cared for him, and that he wasn't involved. I'm still thinking this guy's my man. This ish just got to be told. That's all I kept saying to myself. I can't believe he would think that I would ish on him like that. Honestly, I didn't have no problem with the guy. He can't front on me. As much as he may come off as some Biggie hater, he knows. He knows when all this ish was going down, I was schooling him to certain things. Me and Stretch, God bless the grave. But he chose to do things he wanted to do. There wasn't nothing I could do. But it wasn't like he wasn't my man. And Biggie had a point. He always saw Pac as his big brother. This whole beef wouldn't have happened if Pac wasn't such a hothead. Biggie may have missed out on opportunities to help him while he was in prison, but that doesn't justify all the things Pac did afterwards. Like the whole thing with his wife. Pac should have been more patient, and Biggie should have made more of an effort to reach out to him, especially after putting out the song Who Shot Ya and then reading Pac's comments in the Vibe magazine. Biggie had the world racing around him with his sudden rise to fame, and he had his own personal issues to deal with. Pac should have been a little more understanding. But then again, while he was in prison, he was fed false information by his loved ones, like his cousin hearing King Tut brag about shooting Tupac and being homies with Biggie, which later turned out to be complete nonsense. King Tut was not involved in the Quad Studio shooting, and neither was Biggie. Which means that Pac was in the wrong for doing what he did. He slept with the wife of someone he considered his little brother, stabbing Biggie in the back while having a completely false image of him, fighting a version of Biggie that doesn't even exist. He should have directed his anger at Puffy. But then again, it's very easy to say what people should have done 30 plus years ago. When we have access to all the information and they didn't. Things were different back then. If the mother effer really did F Faye, that's foul how he's blowing her like that. Never once did he say that Faye did some foul ish to him. If Honey was to give you that pussy, why would you disrespect her like that? If you had beef with me, you're like, boom, I'ma F his wife. Would you be so harsh on her? Like you got beef with her? That ish doesn't make sense. That's why I don't believe it. To the question if Puffy believes that he's in physical danger because of Death Row's intimidating reputation, Puffy answered, I never knew of my life being in danger. I'm not saying that I'm ignorant to the rumors, but if you got a problem and somebody wants to get your ass, they don't talk about it. What it's been right now is a lot of movie making and a lot of entertainment drama. Bad boys moving.
Why you running in, boy?
If somebody wants to get your ass,
Why you running in the car?
you're gonna wake up in heaven. There ain't no record gonna be made about it. It ain't gonna be no interviews. It's gonna be straight up, oh, Ish, where am I? What are these wings on my back? Your name is Jesus Christ? When you're involved in some real ish, it's gonna be some real ish. But ain't no man gonna make me act the way that I don't want to act. Or make me be something I'm not. I ain't a gangster. So why y'all gonna tell me to start acting like a gangster? I'm trying to be an intelligent black man. I don't give a F if you people think that's corny or not. If anybody comes and touches me, I'm going to defend myself. But I'ma be me. A young guy who came up making music. Trying to put people on. Handle his business. And make some history.
Stop the cap.
In this interview, Puffy may have hinted that he gave the green light to have Pac and Shook handled. Like he said on the Bad Boy Volume 4 mixtape, his response to Hit 'Em Up is Bad Boys Move in Silence. And now he's explaining the meaning of Bad Boys Move in Silence. There won't be no response records. You're gonna wake up in heaven. And this is unfortunately what's happened the same month the interview came out. I'm ready for it to come to a head. However, it gotta go down. I'm ready for it to be out of my life and be over with. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I just hope it can end quick and in a positive way, because it's gotten out of hand. In the September 96 issue of the Source magazine, Suge Knight offered to stage a pay-per-view boxing event featuring bouts between Bad Boy and Death Row artists. A boxing match between him and Biggie, and also between Pac and Puffy, as those would be the right weight classes for both fights. Let's put up a ring, throw the gloves on and fight.
At
Puffy, get your mother effing ass in the ring and fight Tupac.
Said,
look at Puffy's body.
oh, the diddler's father working
How
with
you gonna
the
talk
feds
ish
too.
and be in a little boy's body? And I'll beat Biggie's ass all over the ring. We can do it in Las Vegas and give the money to the ghetto, not charity organizations, which don't mean a mother effing thing. Take it straight to the ghetto and build swings, parks, and buy food. On September 4th, the Death Row family flew to New York to attend the 96 MTV Music Awards, showing New Yorkers that they're not afraid of coming to the East Coast during the height of the East-West War, after telling everyone from New York that they're ready for drama.
Any you singing from New York that wanna bring it, but we ain't singing, we bringing drama. You and your mama.
Biggie, Puffy, and the Bad Boy crew did not attend the awards even though they were held in their own city. The awards took place in New York, but they did not feel safe. The Death Row entourage had dozens of security guards with them. The reason why Puffy and Biggie did not attend is because they were afraid that Pac would once again attack them like at the Soul Train Awards 6 months prior, where they pulled guns on each other.
We are businessmen. We're not animals. It's not like we're gonna see them and rush them and jump on them. If they see us and they want drama, we're gonna definitely bring it like only Death Row can bring it. But we here as businessmen to enjoy and support the Video Music Awards for MTV because they support us. So if they want to come and use this business opportunity to get on some gangster, you know, we do that better than anybody.
He made clear that they're not going to jump each other like wild animals once they see each other, saying that they're businessmen who came here to show love and support. But he made clear that there's no interest in working with them.
When it all go down, don't look at me and Biggie and be like, why is there a big East Coast, West Coast war when you're shooting this to 300 homes, 300 countries, telling them about an East Coast, West Coast war that they would never know exists.
If it did exist, Pac, we wouldn't be here. So
right, and if it exists, how we gonna be sitting in New York talking about it? We'll try to be better role models, and y'all try to stop putting that drama out there. You got a lot of power, a lot of responsibility. We both do. We both need to exercise greater restraint.
Pac did another interview later that night at the MTV after party, 10 minutes before he ran into Nas. He promoted the new label Death Row East, while saying that with their strength in numbers and by them coming to New York, they're proving that there's no fear and that they're about to overthrow all the labels on the East Coast.
Ain't no other record company out there that sold as many records as we did. We outsold Bad Boy, LaFace, every black record label out there. We outsold them in 1 year. So Death Row East is going to be a personification of what we did on the West Side. We're going to do it to the East Side, and we're going to prove once and for all that all these people talking about an East Coast, West Coast war, they like the Judas was to Jesus. They only here to cause confusion. We here to bring money and to bring change. They here to cause confusion. All these weak rappers, Nas, all these suckers, they battling off of East and West like this is a game. This ain't no game. If this was chess, we'd be yelling checkmate 3 years ago, because we've been beat these. It's not a game. By strength and numbers, we coming to the East Coast to prove there is no fear, there is no problem, there ain't nothing but opportunity. And the opportunity is overthrow the government y'all got right now, which is Bad Boy and Nas and all that bullshit, and we will bring a new government here that will feed every person in New York.
At
10
Jalen's
minutes later, he clashed with Nas, and they squashed the beef.
Said,
told him to meet him in Las
we
Vegas
know
the
who
following
taught
weekend.
and showed them
Pac,
the way
Suge,
of
and
living.
Snoop
Never
stayed in New
was
York the
slaves,
following day,
victims of
where Pac
warfare,
got into a fight with
never
basically
catch
everyone.
a break times
Snoop
up
did an
real
interview with
soon.
Angie Martinez on September 5th in New York. When asked how he feels about Biggie and Puffy, he said, I'm cool with them. I want to do some music with them. I want to work with them. This is interesting because the night before, when he was with Pac, he agreed that there's no interest in working with them.
Can you envision a day when, y'all, if not get together and make an album, just peacefully coexist?
There's no dream of making an album with Biggie and Puffy, or none of them. We're not sweating it like that.
This is our family
We
over
peacefully
here.
coexist right now because we all cool. Everybody's here. They sell records. We sell records. Well, I guess you could call that selling records. What they do. We sell large amounts of records, and they sell a few records. And really, there's no competition. People are really making too much out of it than it is.
Snoop supposedly started hanging out with Biggie after the New York video shoot. And according to the Death Row head of security, Reggie Wright, it caused a label internal beef between him and Suge in spring '96. But the conflict had cooled down a bit until that interview. Now Pac, Suge, and the Mob Peru were mad at Snoop for making those comments. Cause the Crips on Death Row didn't really want to be part of the whole Bad Boy Death Row beef. Suge and Pac wanted Death Row to look like one big family that moves as a collective. They didn't want their enemies to know that there's a divide within their camp. Cause it looked like Biggie had to go up against Pac, Snoop, the Dog Pound, and every artist on Death Row. But with those comments, Snoop confirmed that it's only Pac. And it seemed like everyone else on the label turned their backs on him and let him fight Biggie on his own. That it was only one hothead on the label that had a problem with him. And this made Pac appear less influential and powerful.
The OG's been saying
so of course
Snoop
he was
a
mad
snake
at him.
face with tears of joy.
Yeah, bro. The whole document I've been seeing, I ain't seen Snoop do not one gangster stuff at all. You know what I'm saying? He portrayed as a gangster. He ain't did nothing gangster doing this damn beef. You know what I'm saying?
At Jalen's HONESTY said, for real.
Then when he died, shit, you want to go to with Steve Harvey show. Y'all want to make a peace between West Coast. Man,
and according to Reggie Wright Jr., he was ranting about it for hours. One of the security guards saw Pac hit the top of the limo, saying, "I'm a dead man now. I'm a dead man now. They know we not family. They know we not one."
At
when Pac met Suge at the hotel, he told him what he's going to do with him when he sees him.
Fact.
He was furious. He tried to use the Outlaws to lure Snoop into a trap, asking him to bring him some weed. Pac wanted to corner him and beat him up. There's also people saying that he wanted to leave Death Row, but he probably only said it in the heat of the moment. Later that day, Tupac, the Outlaws, Suge, and the Death Row family went to a club in New York. Everything was fine until the DJ started playing Biggie. Pac supposedly approached him, took the vinyl and broke it,
Snoop never
yelling
was
at the DJ for playing Biggie's music. But this was Biggie's territory. Pac was telling New York DJs in New York not to play East Coast music.
My thing is, we know the Crips got them going out pocket shit, and you a Crip. Why you ain't try to goddamn disescalate this shit or something? You know what I'm saying? That don't make sense to me. Like you, I would never look at him and say.
And that led to a whole argument and fight. So Pac was really mad during his final days. He saw Snoop as a traitor and supposedly wanted to leave Death Row. He even wanted to cancel the trip to Las Vegas that following weekend, where he eventually got shot and killed. because at the time he had some issues with his family that he wanted to solve, but Suge convinced him to stick to the plan. On the following day, which is Friday, September 6th, they flew back to LA early in the morning. Pac didn't speak a word to Snoop, even though he tried to hold a conversation with him. All three had a Rolls Royce waiting for them at the airport. They all went their separate ways. Pac had a tight schedule that Friday. Tons of things he had to get done before his trip to Las Vegas. He wanted to record a couple more songs and then later do the second video to toss it up. One of the last songs he ever recorded is All Out, on which he's dissing Puffy and Biggie in the outro, saying that he destroyed their careers.
Us, the first of us, who we trust. I'm from all deep and Jay-Z, dead to dust. I told you punks that I was after Biggie. You got the ball, now we about to bust on all y'all. West side, nah, yeah, nah, slow Biggie. Bang, nah, you die slow, Puffer. Bang, nah, yeah, die slow out the game. No need to explain, you die slow. Die slow, yeah, yeah, big, puff, none, die slow.
On Saturday, September 7th, Pac and the entire Death Row entourage, excluding the Crips, Snoop, the Dog Pound and Nate Dogg, drove to Las Vegas. This became Tupac's final trip. Cause that night, after the Mike Tyson-Bruce Seldon fight at the MGM Grand Hotel, Tupac and the Death Row entourage got into a fight with Keefe D's nephew Orlando Anderson at the lobby of the MGM Grand. Again, Keefe D was the guy that Puffy hired as security and backup to keep Suge in check. He was after the $1 million bounty which Puffy put on Pac and Suge's head. His nephew Orlando Baby Lane Anderson had previously knocked out the Death Row affiliated Ma Peru member Trayvon Lane, whose Death Row medallion he attempted to snatch,
At
supposedly to bring it back to Puffy, to get that $10,000 to $75,000 bounty which Suge and Tupac were aware of.
Gotta get back
Trayvon
in
and
the
fellow
real
Ma
word
Peru member
nature
Neckbone
prayer.
spotted
All
him
love I
standing there
am
alone,
out, folded
and then
hands,
informed the rest of their
medium
people.
skin tone.
Pac overheard the conversation between the Ma Peru members and then decided to rush Orlando. He took it on to himself to get revenge, cause Pac thought his friends got in danger because of his beef with Puffy. He thought Puffy was taunting them, so he wanted to take matters into his own hands, thinking that he dragged too many innocent people into this who had nothing to do with the beef. He also wanted to prove his loyalty to all the Ma Peru members. So Orlando Anderson gets beaten up, and the Death Row entourage is now on their way to the Club 662. Orlando Anderson and Keefe D then tried to find them.
Mine's in jeopardy, my thoughts are past. I know I'll die soon, so there's no need to ask.
At 11:15 p.m., they pulled up on the right side of Pac's BMW with a white Cadillac and shot multiple times.
Take that, take that, take that.
Tupac suffered life-threatening wounds. Suge, on the other hand, got grazed by a bullet at the back of his head. One of the last things Pac heard before losing consciousness was a question by the police officer Chris Carroll, who carried him out of the BMW and then asked, "Who shot you?" Pac got angry and then used his last breath to say "F you," refusing to cooperate with the police. And then he lost consciousness. Some people believe that the reason why he got mad is because the question "Who shot you?" reminded him of Biggie's song "Who Shot Ya?" Cause as soon as he heard that question, his mood and attitude changed.
Who shot y'all? Separate the weak from the opposite. Leak hard to creep them Brooklyn streets. It's on again.
Shakur was airlifted to the Las Vegas University Medical Center with 4 gunshot wounds and is reported to be in critical. What the fuck?
Biggie was supposedly recording the song Nasty Boy during the time of the shooting. Pac was rushed to the hospital where he lost his life 6 days later on September 13th. He lost one of his lungs and fingers and was put in a medically induced coma. For more information on the final 24 hours of Pac's life, make sure to check out my 4-hour murder documentary, where I broke down everything in detail. Shortly after the shooting, Keefe D received a call from Eric Von Zip, one of Puffy's friends, who supplied the gun which they used to kill Tupac, requesting to meet up at a restaurant called LA Hot Wings, which was at the corner of Melrose and La Brea before closing down. Zip and Keefe D were sitting in the restaurant when they got a call from Puffy and Biggie's wife Faith Evans, asking them if they were the ones that shot Tupac. Puff was the one asking. Keefe D didn't reply, but Zip told him, yeah. And Puffy was quote-unquote happy as hell, according to Keefe D. Most of the conversation was between Zip and Faith. Keefe D then told Zip to get the promised $1 million from Puffy. He would try to call him and arrange a meeting for the next 6 weeks, expecting Zip to come back with the money. So both Puffy and Faith knew who shot him. Biggie probably knew as well, as Faith most likely told him. Why would Puffy be comfortable with Faith being part of the phone conversation? Because they were talking to the people who were responsible for Tupac's death. And according to Keefe D, Zip and Faith already knew each other. Keefe D and the Southsiders did not have contact to Faith Evans or Biggie,
like the video.
at least prior to the shooting. So either Puffy or one of their associates had to have told Faith about it. Or they were just fine with letting Faith be part of the phone conversation. Possibly because she had history with Tupac. But the fact that they trusted her and knew that she wouldn't cooperate with the police is very interesting. Because usually you don't want any more unnecessary witnesses. This phone conversation supposedly took place on September 10th, 3 days before Pac actually passed. According to Puffy's ex-bodyguard Gene Deal and everyone else associated with the Bad Boy camp, Biggie was devastated when he heard the news of Pac's passing. He was actually watching the news with the production team The Hitmen. I had the TV on, and when they said Pac just died, we was like, silent. Couldn't believe it. Wow. Pac died. Unbelievable. Biggie's then estranged wife, Faith Evans, said that she got a call from him that night. She described his voice as low and small. He was crying and seemed afraid. Something ain't right, Faye. Ish got effed up somewhere along the way. But that was my guy. Again, according to Keefe D, by this time, Faith and Puffy knew who shot him. And now Biggie is talking to her like he has no clue what's going on. There is a possibility that they did it behind his back, because it's very unlikely that Big would have agreed to put out a hit on him.
Things like a drive-by shooting ain't supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't happen there. It's crazy for me to even think about this. It hurt me, man. It hurt me. But the way I looked at it, it was like a character that he couldn't get out of. You know what I'm saying? Once he figured out, okay, I can get an enemy, I can get a top rapper, an enemy, and get so much press. It's just, there's so many different things that I could do to keep myself in this. And I'm doing it.
We take back. We don't like Biggie.
At one point, that was my dog.
He delusional. I believe they did that behind his back.
A lot of people didn't know that about him. He was funny. I could make him laugh, man. He liked to hang out and get drunk. His interviews and everything, he just seemed so angry, but at the same time so charming. You know what I'm saying?
The more money you make, the more problems you get. And jealousy and envy is something that comes with the territory, man. A lot of people, it's just negative energy, like my man Puff say. It just surrounds you. It makes you depressed, you know? So I got to rap about it. And that's one of the bad things about the game is when you get large, even your friends are turning against you, man.
I always thought that we were going to have a chance to reconnect. According to Biggie's friend Lance Rivera, Biggie had heard the interview where Pac spoke on the possibility of him squashing the beef.
I already said this in the gang interview.
I have a feeling the Diddler smoked both of them, so he can be on top of the hip-hop, because he also had a falling out with Biggie.
Yep.
Community center in every ghetto in the United States of America, fully funded, fully taken care of, and I'll tour every one of those community centers with Biggie and kiss him on the cheek and rap whatever they want me to rap. But until they do that, the war is on.
Biggie was really sad that they couldn't work it out. His death made him paranoid. He felt like if Pac could die as one half of the whole East Coast-West Coast war, then he could die as well as the representative of the opposite half, with him being accused of setting him up and maybe even putting out a hit on him. Cause they started to blame him for the Vegas shooting as well. Those rumors existed even back then. When Pac died, everybody looked at Puffy and Biggie. They always found a way to blame Big. and he was afraid that the West Coast would retaliate. Biggie was clearly hurt by Pac's death. He was also scared to realize that Pac's money and security guards weren't able to protect him from the violence of the streets. He understood that the same thing could happen to him as well. On September 16th, meaning 3 days after Pac's passing, Biggie, Lil Cease, and Charlie Baltimore got into a near-fatal car accident. Big was supposedly saddened by Pac's death to the point where he was feeling down for days. They had been smoking a lot ever since he passed.
Damn.
A day before the car accident, they actually got arrested for smoking marijuana. For some reason, when they got their Lexus back, the truck wouldn't start. So they had to obtain a rental car, a Chevrolet Lumina to be exact, which was known for having brake problems. Biggie gave Cease the keys and then sat in the passenger seat. They got into an accident right when they got on the highway. The accident led to a broken leg for Big and a broken jaw for Lil Cease.
Damn.
Big had to spend 3 months in the hospital and required 6 months of therapy to recover. And from that point on, he had to depend on a cane to be able to walk again. Now with Big laying in the hospital and being in rehab for 3 months, they couldn't finish the project and release it as planned on Halloween. Biggie was bored as hell, laying there in his hospital bed with nothing to do. So while recovering and learning how to walk again,
At Amansing,
he started writing more songs,
W9C2J.
because there was nothing else
Said,
he could do. And
Biggie
that's when
rapped
he
when he went to
overcame
LA.
his writer's
He rapped
block.
Long Kiss
He
Goodnight.
finally had time to relax. He was able to look back
No,
at
you
his
better
beef
make it
with
laugh.
Pac with a clear head and could make an educated
Yeah, yeah,
decision
crazy.
on how to proceed. Just like when Pac was incarcerated. He had all the time in the world to think of a way to come back. Biggie had to get a lot of his chest. Felt like he had to regain his respect from the rap game. And the only way for him to do that was to say something about Pac. A lot of East Coast rappers and rap fans were mad at Biggie for letting Pac slap him around like that and for letting him disrespect the East Coast. Cause he was the king of New York, he had to speak up. It made New York and the East Coast look weak. And a lot of people held him responsible for that. Cause he basically let Pac get away with it. Cause he lost his chance to respond now in a fair and respectable way. The rap group Mobb Deep pulled their Tupac diss record Drop a Gem on him off the radio. Because the rap game was upset that they're dissing a dead man. Rappers usually battle for their honor. But there's nothing honorable about dissing a dead man. Even guys like Jay-Z scrapped their Tupac diss records. But with Biggie it was different. It was way more personal. Pac had involved Biggie's wife and children. And the rap game wouldn't just let Biggie move on and pretend that nothing happened. Address it or you will never get your respect back. People will continue to humiliate you. That's how some people thought back then. So there was a lot of pressure on him. How could he just swallow his pride and shut up about everything that's happened? When hip-hop is all about expressing yourself and defending your honor. You
At
may
Amansing,
take the high road and let go,
W9C2J.
but the rap world won't ever
Said,
forget about what's happened. They
Machiavelli
will
THA
constantly
Don
remind
lives on
you
from
for the
London,
rest of your
UK.
life. Remind him
Say
of
that.
what Pac did to him.
UK is
And
crazy.
that's what Biggie realized while he was recovering.
Rest
He
in
had
peace,
his pride and
Tupac.
ego too. He wouldn't have been satisfied with the number 2 spot. Behind Pac, who earned himself the eternal number 1 spot after quote-unquote defeating the King of New York. And he basically took that to his grave. Which is part of the reason why he later made the song You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You. He realized that death only made Pac stronger. And the entire world was convinced that Big got humiliated. That he lost the battle and will never get his number 1 spot back. Saying that he's only number 1 now because Pac is dead. That he wouldn't have been number 1 if Pac was alive. He would have been number 2 at best. And he can only compete with number 3 now. Meaning Nas. And that would mean that he could only go down from that point on. People were begging Biggie to finally respond to Tupac to regain his respect in the streets. A lot of New Yorkers were really looking forward to a diss track. They didn't mind that he'd be dissing a dead man. The West Coast would interpret it as the ultimate form of disrespect.
At
and they
Amansing
would have never forgiven him.
W9C2J.
But Big obviously wanted his
Said,
spot back in the most competitive
Piggy
music
had a lot of
genre
gay
in
rap
existence.
study Piggy's raps.
And he can't get it back by battling people who are never even in the conversation for the number one spot. Especially after ducking the smoke from the actual number one and then coming out of hiding once he's dead, claiming to be number one. That's the impression people had of Biggie, calling Biggie a coward for not responding. You can't make people believe that you're the number one after losing the biggest fight of your career and then only fighting smaller opponents. Cause people would always use his loss as an argument against him. Biggie can't be number one cause Pac easily destroyed him. That would be the argument. And Biggie didn't want that. So in order to shut those people up and put everybody in their place, he made sure to respond properly even if it meant that he had to diss a dead man. Cause Pac had dissed his homie Stretch when he was dead. So he thought it was fine for him to do that as well. Cause Pac dissed Stretch on 2 albums after his death. And Biggie didn't want anybody to think that he was scared of battling him, or that he accepted the loss and moved on. Cause Biggie was more than capable enough to do just as much damage to Pac as he did to him. But he was holding back the entire time. People were still looking forward to what he had to say. And now, after a whole year of Pac going at him, he finally had a chance to say something. Cause he hadn't dropped a solo album in 2 years. And a lot of things had happened since then. There was too much unfinished business. Things that needed to be addressed. Like him almost losing his career and status in the game. So he went into the album with a lot of anger and hunger. That's what helped him to overcome the writer's block. Prior to the writer's block, he would write rhymes without a pen and paper, doing everything in his head just like Jay-Z. But due to the car accident and him not being able to turn everything into songs right then and there, he started writing rhymes on paper again, so that he can go to the studio months later when he's healthy and record everything back to back. He kept writing and writing until they decided to turn Life After Death into a double album. If the car accident hadn't happened, Life After Death most likely wouldn't be a double album. But now he could show people that he can make a better double album than Tupac. Cause All Eyes on Me was the biggest thing in 96. Biggie wanted to take over 97 with a double album of his own, with a bigger comeback than Tupac's. That was the plan. Snoop Dogg actually paid him a visit while he was recovering. He's in a walker, what the old people walk around in. He got the walker sitting at the edge of the bed, and when I walk in the room, we started talking. Then he looked me in my eyes and he said that he said that Tupac is dead. But I can look in his eyes and I could see that he
Piggy
hurt.
can never touch Tupac.
He didn't even have to say it.
Tupac was greatest to touch hip-hop.
That he hurt. This is not a man that's happy or glamorous. This is a man whose friend that's dead.
I agree with you.
They had a misunderstanding and he could never get no justice for his emotions. But he's showing me his emotions. He explaining to me how much he loved Tupac. And I ain't tripping. Not once did we bring up the Brooklyn incident. Because what's understood don't need to be talked about.
Biggie Smalls, he's an artist that I listen to his music, I love his work. There's no beef, it's nothing personal. I don't hate him and I don't disrespect him and I love what he do, you know what I'm saying? And it's just me, I'm just a smooth, peaceful individual. I don't have beef with nobody right now, baby.
I thought you was gangster.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap. No bullshit, bro.
Somebody take that boy flag, boy.
I look at the East-West thing as not a Snoop Dogg problem.
Hold on a second. We ain't going.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy.
Now the little girls used to have their little ponytails back in the 90s. Don't they look like that shit? I know you motherfucking lying.
And it doesn't affect me, but yet still it does affect me because I'm a West Coast pioneer and I'm in Death Row's family. And people like to say, well, Death Row and Bad Boy and Death Row.
At Amansing,
when I don't see no problems with nothing
W9C2J.
because I'm out here in New York right now.
Said.
I haven't had a problem since I've been
Snoop
out here. It's
sellout.
been nothing but love. All the
At Broderick
People
Bowen
in public come up to me saying they number
9996
mad love. Even some of the street
said,
heads came up and said they number love. It's just a
Pac
misunderstanding.
was too much
And,
of a
you know, it's just- brothers just need
well-rounded
to talk.
artist, period,
If it's a
100
problem, we need to really sit down and talk and get an understanding with each
Right.
other and stop being punks and hide
At the
behind
Crypto
labels and
Butterfly
hide behind music and videos
said,
and just be a man about the situation.
Because it was a
Snoop
time when I went to Angie
SMH,
Martinez's
build
radio
cap,
show,
build
and she
cap,
asked
build
me when
cap,
Pac was alive,
build
when he was in
cap.
New York, how do you feel about Biggie and Puffy? And I told her, them is my homies. I
At
got
free
love for them.
4,000
Did you get any backlash from,
What?
from the West
said,
Coast? Because I remember that.
Not
Gotta
from West
remember
Coast. I got
Snoop just beat
backlash
a
from
murder
Suge
case,
Knight,
so he ain't want
Tupac,
no
and
MO
Death Row.
problems.
And then was our last
At
days hanging out
Sabisalandala,
before he got killed.
9381
So we ended on a kind of foul
said,
note because he felt like I
Snoopy
didn't
the
stay down with
Goofy.
him. In actuality, I did stay
At
down
Palma
with him
Biwa
because before I knew
7320
Tupac
said,
and before I knew Biggie, I was cool with everybody.
Snoop, what
so
a
once I met
sellout.
Pac, I still was cool with Biggie.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So it was like, do you want me to stop my friendship because of something that you think he did to you? And as a man, every time I see you press up on Biggie, he didn't want it. So do you want me to jump in and he acting like he don't want it? It don't make no sense for us to double team him and he don't even want it one-on-one.
Right.
He's acting like he don't want an issue with you. A bigger man would say, okay, I got you, you don't want none. Not constantly driving him, riding him, because the nigga had skills. If he wanted to shoot back some shit, he could have shot back some super gangster shit. I heard the subliminal shit he was shooting.
Yeah, that's your fake
You
ass.
understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
fake
at the
ass.
same time, it's like
Why you ain't
he
tell
was
me that when you was
strategic
lying?
with, I'm not going to start a fire. I'll just shoot a shot here and there. You know, I'm not no punk. You know what I'm saying?
Biggie's wife, Faith, paid him a visit as well. The two actually got closer after Pac's death. On October 22nd, 1996, Shook was sent to jail for kicking the crib Orlando Anderson the day Tupac was shot in Las Vegas. He was later sentenced to 5 years in prison. Death Row Records was slowly falling apart, with Bad Boy coming out on top by getting rid of their biggest competition. This was a game changer, cause with Pac and Shook out the way, the East Coast had it relatively easy to reclaim their position in hip-hop and win the East Coast-West Coast war. For that, he had to make sure that Life After Death is not only the hardest album, but that it also sells more than all the albums released on Death Row in '96, meaning All Eyes on Me and the two projects from Pac and Snoop that were just about to drop. Only then he could be the undisputed #1. Cause the whole time Pac was bragging about easily outselling Biggie. On November 5th, his first posthumous album, Machiavelli the Dawn, Illuminati, 7-Day Theory, came out and sold 664,000 copies in the first
now,
week,
the murder
which was a
case
major
was his
improvement compared to his
bodyguards,
double
not
album
Snoop. He
All
was
Eyes on
just
Me,
part of the
which had
case.
sold
As an accomplice, Snoop is
566,000
no
copies
shooter.
in the first
He's
week.
no gangsta.
Although it's worth to note that the sales of Illuminati slowed down drastically compared to All Eyes on Me, which went 5
At
times
Sean
platinum
Dialer,
in just 2
479.
months. Well, it took Illuminati
Said,
3 years to go 4 times
Love
platinum.
Snoop, period.
All Eyes on Me remained his biggest album, mainly due to all the singles, music videos, and club-friendly records. Plus, he was actually alive to promote the album. It is said that Biggie really liked the new album, even with all the disses on it. He played it in his car and was studying it. For most people, the album was very eerie, mysterious, and spooky. Not just the cover with Pac being on a cross and him dying, but it was also way darker than all his previous albums. Biggie really loved the song Hail Mary, which must have hit different for him as it's one of the spookiest rap songs of all time. Biggie was paranoid and scared after Pac died in Las Vegas. He even spoke about it in one of his interviews.
Every day is real. That's how real it is. I think somebody is trying to kill me. I'll be waking up paranoid. I'll be really scared. I'll just be paro. That's just the way I am. You know. You be seeing me. Scared to death.
He just knew that it was a bad thing when Tupac passed. He felt real bad. He knew that there were a lot of people out there that would probably be out there to get him.
Shit, right in the nigga right close to him. Shit, puppy.
10 years, 12 years in the game. I'm older. How are you now? 24. Yeah, I want to be the 30-year-old rapper, man.
Pac's death really had an impact on him, and he needed time to process it. He went through all emotions, didn't know if he should be sad or mad. There were tons of things he wanted to tell him in person, but never got the chance to. Pac, on the other hand, was able to put everything on records and express himself freely. Biggie was constantly getting dissed even after Pac's death, cause even before the release of his posthumous albums, people would leak unreleased Tupac songs without Death Row ever being able to figure out how it happened. That's why you see so many unreleased Tupac songs on the internet now. It's possible that Biggie got to hear a few of them, just like how he got his hands on a leaked version of Hit 'Em Up. A few songs like Watch Your Mouth and Friends didn't make the final Killuminati album, but they're listed on the original back cover, which has 6 additional tracks in total.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on it, man.
They got to be Dr. Dre.
Including the song Thug Nature, which was supposed to have Michael Jackson on it. The back cover was also supposed to feature 3 of Pac's biggest enemies. The notorious B.I.G., who is depicted as a pig wearing a P.I.G. hat and a tight Batgirl shirt. Then we have Puff Daddy as a ballerina, and lastly a naked Dr. Dre on the far right. That same day, Richie Rich's album Seasoned Veteran came out as well, and included a song called N-Word Done Changed, which featured a previously unreleased Tupac verse in which he dissed Biggie.
At Broderick Bowen 9996
When we pulled him out of the car after he
said,
was shot, he took his
that's
hands.
why it
after
isn't
we laid him
giving
on the
up
ground,
the
took him out of the
publishing
car. He was laying there.
LMFAO.
He took
Damn.
He was like
My dad
almost
didn't give up. I
unconscious,
knew
but he
it.
was still moving, and he took his hands and he did just like
Damn.
The spookiest part of the song is where he says that he got shot and murdered. And this came out 2 months after he passed. Not only that, but he also said that the people who did this to him will meet the same fate and get killed as well. Which is exactly what happened. The Crip Orlando Anderson, who was in the white Cadillac from which they shot Tupac, was shot and killed on May 29th, 1998. And Biggie died the same way on March 9th, 1997. People always use lines like these to point out Pac's superhuman ability to predict the future.
Y'all been shot and murdered. Can't tell you how it happened word for word, but best believe that niggas gon' get what they deserve. In the same way.
A week later, on November 12th, Snoop Dogg's long-awaited sophomore album, The Dogfather, came out and received mixed reactions. It was nowhere near the level of his first album, Doggy Style, in terms of quality. Nowhere near All Eyes on Me, Killuminati, or Ready to Die. And this whole time, Snoop was seen as someone that's on the level of Tupac and Biggie. Before Pac dropped All Eyes on Me, he was the biggest artist on Death Row. But he was slowly falling off, and Pac had to carry the label. But after Pac's passing, Snoop was the only superstar left on Death Row, selling 479,000 copies in the first week, which is less than both of Pac's albums, which again sold 566 and 664,000.
Said,
Snoop at one point sold
it's
over
like when these
800,000
guys
copies
sign
in the
these
first
deals,
week.
some of them
And
know
the
they
rap
will
game
die, and that
expected him
star
to make a
ring
huge
they be
comeback.
wearing a lot of
He was
rappers
seen as a
wearing it is
sleeping
like a
giant,
sign pack
Death Row's
slash King
ace.
Von
But
slash
the album
Pop Smoke
Dogfather
Dog
disappointed
Takeoff.
on numerous levels, and people started to realize that with Pac, Dre and Suge gone, the golden days of Death Row are over. The pressure was on Snoop to carry the entire label, and to compete with Biggie on the East Coast, to fill Pac's shoes as the face of the West Coast during the East-West War, which he wasn't capable of. So the West Coast was at its weakest at that point in time. Biggie didn't even see Snoop as a threat, or anyone else on the West Coast. The East Coast was now about to win the war. When it came to competition, Biggie was more concerned with the MCs on the East Coast than the ones on the West Coast. He wanted to prove himself against everyone from New York who doubted him, and to everyone who came for his crown. After leaving the hospital and learning how to walk again using a cane, Biggie went back to the studio to finish the album. Despite him showing sadness and empathy to Tupac's passing, people were still feeling like Biggie had to respond. The game had lost respect for him. Pac had done so much damage that everyone looked at Biggie like he's the biggest coward in the rap game. Someone who's all talk, no action. A fake king, a fake player. And now with the accident, Biggie was also in the weakest condition he'd ever been. So how is he supposed to come back stronger? Not only did his reputation and status take a hit, but also his physical and mental health. But as the King of New York, you can never be soft or weak. He had to earn back his respect from everyone and put fear into the hearts of his enemies and competition. How are you supposed to do that when you got humbled by a guy who just passed away and thus stole your chance of ever getting back at him to earn back the respect people had for you? Keeping it in the past and moving on from that battle would only mean that Biggie accepted defeat and acknowledged Pac's superiority over him. When all this time, Biggie wanted everyone to think that he is the undisputed number one. Just like all the other top MCs in the 90s,
At the
as
Crypto
hip-hop
Butterfly
is a competitive sport.
said,
So, in order to not bow
very
down and accept
interesting
defeat,
facts,
Biggie
thumbs up,
chose to
medium
subliminally
skin
diss
tone.
Pac, even though he's already
I
dead,
appreciate that,
while denying
Butterfly.
that he ever dissed him. But hip-hop heads
Something
knew
about
better
what
and
he's saying?
saw through that lie. The disses were made to satisfy them, not the media or the people who are not really involved with the culture. Cause those people were happy with the lie that Big never responded to anything Pac had to say out of respect for the dead. Pac fans didn't stop blaming him for the Quad Studio shooting, and they had also started to blame him for the Vegas shooting. Big was just tired of constantly having to defend himself and to constantly correct them, telling them that he had no involvement in any of it. But he saw how Pac's quote-unquote lies helped him to boost his album sales, understanding that controversy sells. So he started lying too to create controversy, subliminally pretending to be responsible for everything. He said screw it and decided to become the villain people painted him to be. But he would only appear that way to people who are really involved with the culture, and to those who would have never stopped accusing him. All the haters, conspiracy theorists, and those who called him a coward who tucked his tail after talking spicy on Who Shot Ya. Big made sure that those people got the response they wanted, while everyone else continued to see the version of Biggie that acted like he doesn't want to get involved in the beef. The peaceful and innocent one. The victim. That's the version of Biggie most people got to witness. On the radio, in interviews, every time he spoke in public. You got the feeling that Big wasn't dissing Pac. He kept it all subliminal.
At Broderick
Unlike
Bowen
Pac, he didn't
9996.
mention him by name. He was the king
Said,
of subliminal disses.
The
Dissed him
Dogfather
without
was
making it too
straight
obvious
whack.
for the
It look like
casual
it's wet.
hip-hop
The cover art
listeners.
look like it's white, too.
So yeah, Biggie subliminally accepted everything people accused him of.
I can't look at Snoop Dogg and say, I
you
don't
know
know
what?
about y'all.
I did
can't look
it.
at- I've learned all this.
Blame
I
it
can't
all
look
on
at
me.
Snoop Dogg like-
He's dead because of me and my homies. And now I'm going to dig his metaphorical corpse
So me
out and
growing
do
up,
whatever I want with
91
him.
baby. Me
For one
growing up,
last
since
time.
Snoop Dogg, I thought you was- you know what I'm
Disrespect
saying?
the dead man and then bury him again
Talk
a
gangsta
second
shit.
time.
Well, you really
I'm tired of
get
having
older,
to
you find
take the
out
high
facts
road.
and you
I'll
like,
do what
yeah, look at
MCs
the
are
same
supposed to do when they're disrespected. I'll do everyone who messes with me the same way I did Pac. Or worse. Come and find out. I'm tired of being the victim and proclaiming my innocence to people who don't even care about the truth. I'm going to give you what you asked for and show you that I could have responded to him if I wanted to. It wasn't like I was incapable or not skilled enough to respond. But he was my friend, and I tried to de-escalate the situation. But it's too late now. Believe what you want. I'll close this chapter once and for all. Respond to it once and then never again. This chapter will not end
Y'all
with
enjoying
me
the stream,
losing the
please
battle.
drop me a like.
I'm not going to
Hit
allow
my channel,
anyone
bro.
to disrespect me any
We are
further.
doing more documentaries.
Now it's my time to shine. I'll come to your city and shove my victory in your face.
I wanna do,
and everyone else who has a problem with me, come see me.
Easy,
I'll show
Death
you
Row
why they
and,
call me the King of
Dr.
New York.
Dre. I want to do that, nigga.
That was Biggie's thought process during the rioting
y'all
and
like to see
recording of the second half of Life After Death. The more peaceful part was already recorded. And now he wants to extend the album to a double album. Have a bigger comeback than Pac with his double album All Eyes on Me. He wanted to make history and put the whole game in fear, just like Pac did when he came out of prison. And in order to outdo him, he needed to be more vicious than Tupac himself. The rapper Busta Rhymes then invited him to come do a song with him for his next album, When Disaster Strikes. He wanted to do a track called Dangerous MCs with Nas, Method Man, and Biggie on it, rapping over a J Dilla beat.
Snoop is whack.
So he booked the studio session at Unique Studios in New York and had Method Man and Nas waiting there for Biggie to show up. Nobody wanted to record a verse until they heard Biggie spit. Big and Lil C's arrived at the building, but then noticed that the elevator ain't working. They had to take the stairs to get to the studio, but Biggie's leg still hadn't fully healed. He refused to use the stairs, called Busta and told him that he can't make it. There was a $10,000 check waiting for him, but Biggie still refused.
I think Big just got into the car accident with C's, so his leg was fucked up, and the elevator wasn't working. Big come in the studio, he downstairs. You ain't gonna see me tonight, man. Again, I felt like climbing up them stairs, my size and my foot puffed up. I said, my nigga, I got your bread. Again, I don't give a fuck if you had $1 trillion upstairs.
The elevator was broke and Big had a car accident, so he had a cane. And he's like, dude, he said, I love y'all, but I ain't walking up the stairs with this bro. His shit was broke. Something was broke. He had a car accident.
He left and nobody recorded the verse, cause they were all afraid that Big would come back the next day and out-rap everybody. They wanted to make sure that they can make changes to their verses if necessary. The second day, Meth, Nas, and Busta waited again, but the elevator was still not working. Biggie didn't come. Nas and Meth refused to lay down a verse, thinking that it's smarter to hear what Biggie has to say, to make sure that they're not getting out-rapped. So they left again without seeing Biggie.
I don't know if anybody wrote their rhyme or even a piece of it, but nobody laid their shit. Cause motherfuckers wanted to see what Biggie was gonna do.
Yeah, that was a crazy session. That was gonna be some ish. Right. So I didn't lay no verse, but the next day Big came and he did his ish.
On the third day, Busta went to a different studio. It was the Soundtrack recording studio in New York. The elevator was working this time, but Nas and Method Man didn't show up. Big was smoking weed for hours, vibing to the J Dilla beat. He went back to writing rhymes in his head. He was high and still able to come up with a verse. Just like when he and Nas wanted to do the Gimme the Loot remix. Nas was too high to write a verse, and he was shocked when he saw Biggie spit it off the dome, even though he was just as high. On that day, Nas had left the studio without finishing the song, and they ended up scrapping it because he never came back. Now Big is back doing the same thing with Busta Rhymes, who was confused, asking himself when he will start to write something. After 3 hours, he asked him. Big then said that he's ready to go. Spit the verse off the dome.
One of the studio chairs that got the wheels on it that roll around, he's sitting in that shit just doing this while a beat was playing. He just smoking. He ain't writing nothing. So about 3 hours in, I'm just like, my nigga, you ain't gonna do this verse, my nigga. And he said, I'm ready, Wes.
Diamonds on my neck, chrome drop top, chilling on the scene, smoking pounds of green.
It's crazy how he started off by rapping about smoking pounds of green. He was literally smoking weed for 3 hours before spitting this verse, dissing Tupac on the same track Busta Rhymes, Method Man, and Nas were supposed to be on, just to show them that the King of New York ain't scared to respond to the King of LA. He was also beefing with Nas and Method Man's homies Ghostface Killah and Drake One at the time, so he couldn't lose respect in their eyes. He wanted to show them what he's capable of, making it seem so effortless, while Nas and Meth were nervous about keeping up with Biggie for the past couple of days. Big definitely had an intimidating aura in the studio, spitting top-tier verses without having to sit down and focus, making it seem like the easiest thing in the world, as if he can battle Pac any day of the week without preparation, like a walk in the park, basically flexing on Busta Rhymes, cause all the New York MCs were asking themselves if Pac was too much for Biggie to handle. And now he's in the studio dropping punchlines left and right, without having anything written down. The whole game had underestimated him. He continues where Pac had left off.
And the winner is not that thinner kid.
Now you tell me who won. I see them, they run.
And the winner is not that thinner kid, bandanas, tattoos, my fists never bruise, land still cruise, Frank White paid his dues.
Biggie's subliminal lines describe 3 of Tupac's signature features: his wiry frame, the bandana that he usually had tied around his head, and his tattoos, most notably his Thug Life tattoo. And this is what he does. Instead of calling you out by name, he finds a million ways to describe you and talk about you. Like when he said Papa Very.
Ask who's the raw, bet they say Papa Very.
He made you think of the name Machiavelli without even saying it. Biggie is saying that Tupac didn't win the battle like he implied on Hit 'Em Up. For Biggie, the battle is still ongoing even though Pac is already dead. He also said not that thinner kid because Pac always made fun of Biggie's weight.
Done did it, come with it, get your head split it, or get your neck slit it, admit it, you overdid it, you just ain't got that loud.
Telling Pac that he done did it and overdid it now, meaning that he went too far with his supposed lies and acting. Him accusing his closest friends of setting him up while dissing them on records. Telling Pac, who was already deceased at this point, that in a battle he would have gotten his head splitted or neck slitted. He's also joking about how his subliminal jabs always make people raise their eyebrows, making people speculate if those lyrics are disses or just silly coincidences.
By now you figure, he talking about the inner but your weak ass assumptions, led the dumping.
Puffy and Biggie used to tell people that none of the things they say in their lyrics are disses towards Tupac, that people are just misinterpreting the lines. After Pac's death, Puffy tried to make us believe that Biggie never dissed him. But right here, Biggie is spilling the truth about their subliminal game.
But your weak ass assumptions led the dumping, IV the pumping, you're feeling something. Catch my drift or catch my forfeit.
These lines are not only dedicated to Tupac but also the entire rap game, which assumed that the song Who Shot Ya was about Pac, and that Big was involved in the Quad Studio shooting. He's saying that those weak-ass assumptions ultimately led to Tupac's murder, playing around with the word lead, which is another term for bullets fired from a gun, saying that those assumptions about Biggie led to Tupac getting shot in Las Vegas, and to him getting hooked up to an IV, meaning an intravenous infusion pump at the hospital, which pumps fluids, medication and nutrients into Tupac's body while he's fighting for his life in the hospital. He's also saying that Pac being in his feelings led to him feeling something, more specifically bullets. Pac was in his feelings, so he felt bullets.
You're talking senseless. Actor needs chiropractor for crack jaw. Yes, I rocked your chatterbox.
Once again calling him an actor. Not because he was a movie star, but because he was quote-unquote acting during the Quad Studio incident. That's what they said about him in the Vibe magazine. That everything was a movie to him. That he went into movie mode after the shooting, accusing everybody, acting like the whole world is against him.
I think we'll just get a little bit too happy with the situation. Trying to make movies. Everything was a movie to him.
You're talking senseless. Actor needs chiropractor for crack jaw. Yes, I rocked your chatterbox.
Biggie is saying that he punched him in his chatterbox, which is a term used for people who have a big mouth and talk a lot. Biggie cracked his jaw and now he needs a chiropractor to fix it.
Dangerous you're not, I gets down. Twist your body round and round, upside down. I get around, still down with the underground clown. I get around, twist your body round and round, upside down.
Actor needs chiropractor for crack jaw. Yes, I rocked your chatterbox. Dangerous you're not, I get down. Twist your body round and round, upside down.
That's your ass.
Big, I ain't putting this out.
Yeah, you know that's the only verse that Big went at Pac.
Yes,
the only.
The double album. He had some verses for him, but you're right. That was the one when he went right at him. Right at him.
Yeah, Busta played me that verse. I was gonna bring it here, but I said I don't think I should. I was like, I don't think I should.
Biggie ended his verse singing the last line mockingly in the style of the hook in Tupac's platinum single I Get Around, referencing the song to say that he'll wipe the floor with him, further fueling the fact that the verse was a diss towards Tupac. Lil' Kim had dissed him in a similar way if you remember, referencing the song Keep Your Head Up.
Fed up, wet up. Maybe next time you punk ass to keep your head up.
The Junior Mafia clique most likely joked about Pac all the time, cause this is the exact type of humor and writing style. When Busta Rhymes heard Biggie diss Pac on his record, he told him that he's not putting it out. Pac was one of Busta's friends too, and this was in the middle of the East Coast West Coast beef. It would look like he's picking sides, and that's what Biggie actually wanted. He wanted Nas, Method Man and Busta to be on the same song on which he's dissing Tupac, so that he had all the New Yorkers on his side, having his back in the war against the West Coast, especially after dissing one of their deceased legends,
the
victory song for the East Coast. And they would also look very powerful. Anyone that would have dared to respond to the song would technically have to go against not only Biggie, Junior Mafia and the Commission with Jay-Z, but also against Nas and The Firm, Method Man and the Wu-Tang Clan, and Busta Rhymes and his group Flip Mode. Which of the MCs on the West Coast would have been bold enough to take on all these people? Name one rapper besides Pac who would have responded to all of them. And the East Coast was fully aware of that. They knew that they were back on top. No one on the West Coast would have dared to battle Biggie after he dissed the Dead Man. That's what motivated him to continue. The West Coast couldn't have done anything lyrically to stop him, but they still felt like Biggie was a coward since he didn't have the guts to say those things to Tupac while he was alive, knowing that he would be able to respond to everything Biggie has to say. Tupac even had a line on Troublesome 96 where he prophesized it. But yeah, Biggie was now back in album mode. He had multiple people on the hit list, not just Tupac, but also rappers on the East Coast like J. Rue the Damager, OGC, Ghostface, Raekwon, The Roots, most importantly Nas, Royal Flush. The list was very long. He had lines for everyone. Was ready to battle the entire East Coast. I spoke on this in my King of New York documentary. Make sure to check it out. The Mecca of hip-hop needed to be represented by the best of the best, not by somebody who can only come back because his competition got shot and killed. So he added countless lines to Life After Death going at Pac, to undo some of the damage he did while trying to prove that he's lyrically superior. They did it in a way that they still appear to be wanting to make peace with the West Coast, so that they can fly to LA again and perform there, now that Pac and Suge are gone. They wanted to unite the nation again, with Biggie becoming the face of it, taking over Pac's half, so that he's not only the face of the East Coast, but of the entire US, the highest selling rap artist worldwide, while pretending to be saddened by Tupac's death, so that they can win over some of his fans. 3 months after Biggie's accident, Snoop Dogg paid Biggie a visit in New York when he was recording his album. Biggie had around 30 people in the studio dressed in army fatigues, just like the robbers at the Quad Studios. Again, Pac pointed out how they looked like Biggie's homies in Brooklyn, and Snoop Dogg was surprised when he saw all these people in fatigues. Biggie played him the song Somebody's Got to Die, in which he said,
I'm sitting in the crib dreaming about lead checks and coops. The way Salt shoots and how they sell records like Snoop. The way Salt shoots and how they sell records like Snoop.
Stop the cap.
Snoop was flattered. Biggie wanted to sell as many records as Snoop. He squashed the beef with the only death row superstar remaining, to get the East Coast West Coast war under control. He put it on wax to make it official. Now that Pac and Suge were gone, there was no more reason for him to continue the beef. But guess what? While Snoop wasn't around, they invited Pac's killer Orlando Baby Lane Anderson and Keefe D to the studio when Bone Thugs and Harmony and Biggie were recording the song Notorious Thugs. Biggie and Puffy were chilling with them, and they knew the whole time that that's Tupac's killer. So not only were they cool with Jimmy Henchman after the first shooting, but they were also popping bottles with Orlando Anderson and Keefe D after the second one. And Orlando was there when Biggie talked about his beef with Tupac. And he also knew that Pac had a problem with people using the term thug in their music. That's why he was beefing with Bone Thugs and Harmony prior to getting locked up.
I know people looking on TV, they going, wait a minute. Didn't I already hear a group called Thug something? I already heard about some kind of thug something on TV. Who is Thug Life? This the original. We are the original thugs. I want to get to be real again.
He also had a problem with Nas and Mobb Deep for using that term. And now all of a sudden Biggie is calling himself a thug as well. Fat Joe was actually the one that got Bone Thugs and Harmony and Biggie together. Cause Bone Thugs around that time didn't really mess with him because of the Pac situation. The group had actually squashed their beef with Pac and recorded a song together called Thug Love. Fat Joe, the guy who supposedly dissed Pac together with Biggie, is now trying to get Bone Thugs on their side. Cause they were signed to Eazy-E's record company Ruthless Records, which has always been the enemy of Death Row and Suge Knight. They even had Eazy-E's right-hand man Biggie Knockout in the studio with them. And they all had a problem with Death Row. Biggie Knockout was actually the best friend of Orlando Anderson. And they were now hanging out together with Biggie and Puffy. You obviously can see Keefe D and Orlando in the pictures,
Why you like a flea market,
but if
Tyler,
you
the
look
creator?
closely, you can see Biggie Knockout standing close to the door. Puffy kept the Southsiders around for protection, cause Suge Knight was still giving orders from prison to continue to harass them. But now that the FBI was investigating, Puffy supposedly told Keefe D and the Southsiders around that time that they should try to keep their distance from everybody associated to the label Bad Boy, at least for the next couple of months. He would keep them around, but at a healthy distance. At parties and events, they would sit in the opposite side of the room. The FBI already suspected the Southsiders of having something to do with the Tupac murder.
That's all you got?
And this was just a couple weeks after the gang war in Compton, where the cops arrested dozens of Southsiders. The rumors of Puffy's involvement and cooperation with the Southsiders existed back then as well. But Puffy dismissed those rumors every time he was asked. We never used Crips or any other gang faction to do security for us, he asserted to MTV News. In a subsequent interview, when asked whether he might have been introduced to Keefe D and others without being told they were Crips, Puffy insisted, being a young black celebrity, you have thousands of acquaintances. I can't say who I've met. It's not like all gang people wear colored rags on their heads. But a press agent for his record label was more equivocal. When pressed as to whether it was Biggie who might have, unbeknownst to Puffy, hired Crips as muscle, the publicist responded, "As a family, Bad Boy did not use them," begging the question of who exactly was a member of the family. Biggie finished recording the Life After Death album in early '97. Let's take a look at the individual tracks and see what he had to say about Pac. Hypnotize was hereby the comeback single for the double album. It was supposed to compete with Tupac's California Love. The song was actually recorded before Tupac's death. Back then, he had a more peaceful approach regarding the beef.
Never lose, never choose to, bruise, cruise who, do something to us, talk, go through us.
Saying that he'll win the beef without retaliating. When his enemies spit venom in his direction, it goes right through Big and his crew. The metaphorical venom doesn't even affect them. So violence is never his first choice. He expressed a similar sentiment about pacifism and the cost of violence on the song More Money, More Problems.
I told you, being Mike to me, bruise too much, I lose too much, bang every MC easily.
I ain't gonna lie, whoever sing on that song, she killed that shit. I ain't gonna lie, I give him that.
These lines were directed at all the rappers who were talking bad about Biggie at the time. He's telling them that in a battle he'd defeat them easily, but he chooses to speak his mind without reacting violently, while keeping his peace, meaning his gun and his necklace, the Jesus piece, but also peace as in the opposite of war.
So I just speak my peace, keep my peace, Cubans with the Jesus piece, with my peace.
The next song, Kick in the Door, was recorded after Pac's death. It's a full diss track aimed at multiple MCs on both coasts. As you can see, he was only peaceful while Pac was alive. Something changed during his 3 month recovery phase. Something clicked and he went full war mode after that. The hate and disrespect from hip-hop heads and also MCs like Jeru the Damager, Nas, Ghostface Killah, Raekwon the Chef, the groups OGC and The Roots most likely got to his head and made him go all out. Cause for the entirety of Pac's reign on the top, Biggie was telling people that he would never quote-unquote diss another black man, that he's only here for the art and for the money. But now all of a sudden he wants to battle the entire rap game. Cause people were confusing his kindness and peacefulness with weakness. Rappers were making fun of him in songs and music videos. They saw how Pac increased his record sales by slapping Biggie around. Biggie just turned him the other cheek and allowed it. So everyone tried to use that to their advantage and to boost their record sales. It became a trend to diss Biggie, and there were no consequences to it. The rap game would actually reward them with attention, and they would boost their record sales, all on the expense of Biggie. And he didn't want to be the laughingstock of the industry anymore. I mean, for what? Why would he allow them to continue? It only hurt his career. He understood that the peaceful route ain't always the best route.
What the fuck is that?
People will take advantage of you if you allow them to. So he started battling half of the East Coast to earn his respect back and to show them that he's worthy of the King of New York title. And he also went at the guy that started this whole Biggie hate train, his biggest enemy, Tupac Shakur.
Your reign on the top was short like leprechauns as I crush so-called willies, thugs, and rapadons.
These lines are both a shot at Tupac and also Nas. Pac's reign on the top lasted less than a year. He got released from prison on October 12, 1995, dropped his album on February 13, 1996, and died exactly 7 months later. Big says that he's crushing his competition. All the thugs, meaning the Tupacs of the world, the Willies, Jab at Nas, and the rapper Dons, shot at Raekwon the Chef, Ghostface Killah, and again against Tupac, aka Machiavelli the Don.
This goes out for those that choose to use disrespectful views on the king of NY. Of that, why try throw bleach in your eye?
The next song in which he's dissing Pac is Last Days, which was produced by Havoc from Mobb Deep, another rapper slash producer that Pac was beefing with prior to his untimely demise. Biggie knew that Havoc dissed him on the song Drop a Gem on Him, and he had also dissed Snoop and the Dogg Pound on the song LA LA, which Biggie later used as inspiration for his own Tupac diss record Long Kiss Goodnight, which I will talk about in a minute. It features a similar beat as the one Havoc rapped on when he dissed the Dogg Pound and Snoop. And now these two are collaborating.
You're waking up in cold sweats, they just dreams. You still apologizing, analyzing my size and your sizing.
He's 3 times bigger than me, and everybody sympathizing with him. They acting like I'm bullying him. He's 3 times bigger than me, and I'm asking this nigga to have a fight.
Analyzing my size and your sizing, realizing a fist fight will be asinine.
Big started off by referencing Tupac and Suge Knight's offer in the September 96 issue of The Source magazine, where they proposed a pay-per-view boxing match between Tupac and Puff Daddy. Not Tupac and Biggie, but Tupac and Puffy, calling him a punk if he refuses. And Biggie kinda makes fun of that, suggesting that Pac was too scared to fight him. Pac was fully aware that he would probably lose to Biggie in a fist fight, mainly because of the difference in height and weight, because of the size difference.
Analyzing my size and your size.
That shit don't make no damn sense. Who connect first?
Nobody can never be confused and think I'm Mike Tyson and I'm a heavyweight champion. I'm a little. That's why it's so raw to watch me just battle lions, because I'm a little skinny, battling 3 times my size.
Let's be honest, you a punk or you would see me with gloves. Remember that you said the vibe about me being a thug? Die for $1, and life ain't sweet. Play for keeps, wet shirts with experts on the creep.
Pac is realizing that challenging him to a fist fight would be extremely foolish and stupid. Biggie was always calling Pac an alcoholic, saying that he's the type to pop champagne and wine, while Biggie is popping nines, meaning shooting guns.
You just pop wines, I must pop nines. Genuine steel piece, nozzle in your grill piece.
Pac actually got into quite a few shootings before the Quad Studio incident, like when he shot at 2 off-duty police officers in '93. But Biggie and Stretch were making fun of him for shooting himself during the Quad Studio robbery, calling him a fake thug and actor, someone who, unlike Biggie, can't even handle a gun.
I don't know what he was trying to hide, or he was scared. I don't know what was going on in his head. I want to apologize, especially when I found out what really went down. He shot himself. And he didn't really get shot in the head. He got pistol whipped. You know what I'm saying? I'm hearing all this, and I'm like, damn.
I beef is my fiance. I'm about to marry it.
I beef is my fiance. I'm about to marry it.
Since Pac ruined Biggie's first marriage by getting in between his relationship with Faith Evans, their beef is their fiance, and Biggie is about to marry it, with the promise, till death do us part. And that's exactly what happened, as Pac lost his life due to the beef. And that was the end of it.
Beef for me is unhealthy. I'll sit around and get an ulcer, lose your pulse or collapse lung. Look how many gets I've brung.
Beef with Biggie is unhealthy, making Pac lose his pulse and leading to a collapsed lung. Pac had his right lung collapsed and removed after getting shot in the chest in Las Vegas.
Now we know why you
He fought for his life for 6 days straight, while being in a medically induced coma. And then he lost his pulse, died on September 13th. Look How Many Gats Up Wrong could be about Biggie bringing all his guns to the Parker Meridian Hotel Suite in '93, the day Tupac got accused of assault and then also hit with the illegal weapon possession charges for Biggie's guns.
Look how many gats I've brung for them homo who's still doing promos. Break both your legs, you move in slow-mo.
When I got arrested in New York, I got arrested for Biggie. Them guns in my room was Biggie's guns because them cowards left the room when they heard the police was downstairs and everybody left their guns in my room. So I got 4 guns in my room. Serial numbers scratched out and I did not snitch. I took that case.
Next song is I Love the Dough with Jay-Z, who again got into a beef with Pac after making the song Brooklyn's Finest with Biggie. He was on Pac's radar ever since Biggie started appearing in his music videos. The beat for I Love the Dough was produced by Easy Mo Bee, who had also collaborated with Tupac before the Quad Studio incident. Big was the one who introduced these two to each other. Mo Bee sent Puffy between 70 and 80 beats for the Life After Death album, which Puff rejected according to Mo Bee himself. He had produced 6 songs for the Ready to Die album, but for his sophomore project he only produced 2, even though it's a double LP. Biggie was a little mad at Mo Bee for giving Pac better beats than him, and now they reject 70 to 80 beats. Probably didn't even listen to them. The beat for I Love the Dough was actually laying around the whole time, as it was intended for the Ready to Die album back in '94. But Puffy didn't want it as it wasn't raw and grimy enough. It didn't fit the overall theme. Juicy, One More Chance and Big Papa were hereby exceptions. They didn't want the album to sound too commercial. They wanted the I came from nothing and I'm hustling every day to make it type of sound, cause that was the type of sound that was more fitting for Biggie at the time. Now they wanted everything to be more flashy and glamorous, cause Big is rich now and famous. That's why Life After Death sounded more polished, and the beat fit perfectly. Biggie used both of Mo Bee's beats to diss Pac.
Deserve Oscars. Me, I'm critically acclaimed. Slug past your brain.
The 4th issue, when they came back with a reply, everybody knew what I did. They knew what I said. I was acting. Who gets shot 5 times and acts?
Actors deserve Oscars.
Pac was of course known for his acting career, particularly for the role of the wild child Bishop in Juice. You might remember what Biggie said about Tupac in 2 of the Vibe magazine interviews. The one in the August '95 issue, for example, where he spoke on Tupac's behavior at the Quad Studios, saying that everything was a movie to him. And then also in the September '96 issue where he talked about the altercation at the Soul Train Awards. I looked into his eyes and I was like, yo, this guy is really bugging the F out. I was like, that's Bishop. Whatever he's doing right now, that's the role he's playing. He played that ish to a T.
Deserve Oscars.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Give him a round of applause. The Academy Award goes to the actor, Tupac Shakur. Give him a round of applause. Let's go triple and 4 quadruple.
Then he also mentions the same jeweler Tupac and Haitian Jack would go to before Pac got shot and robbed at the Quad Studios. He supposedly took Biggie there too. And that's why he started to buy himself jewelry.
Tito smile every time we see our faces.
There are also rumors that Biggie was seen wearing the jewelry that the robbers stole from Tupac during the Quad Studio incident, which people used as proof to back up their claims of Biggie having something to do with the robbery, suggesting that Biggie was in touch with the robbers and got Pac's jewelry from them to wear it as a trophy.
They couldn't nothing with
Haitian
Pac
Jack
dead
was
or
the one who
alive, bow
introduced
back
Tupac.
hand index pointing left medium dark skin tone.
I'm just looking at them up for like, what the fuck is you talking about, bro?
To Tito, and they would always buy jewelry together.
Regardless
Biggie didn't have the money
lost.
back then, but he would later buy himself jewelry from
didn't
there
say
too.
nothing, he was on your
And
ass.
it's possible that
Yeah,
he bought
multiple
himself
albums
some of the
saying
same
on your
jewelry
ass.
that
You did
Tupac
not say
bought in
so.
'93. Cause Pac would buy himself the same
stole that nigga
jewelry
jewelry?
as Haitian.
Hold on, twin. Long tag, we gotta do our Scooby-Doo thing. But it look the same. But it do look the same with that. I don't know now. That nigga got a long head, told that goddamn twin.
Jack. And Biggie supposedly tried to mimic and copy him in an attempt to build his player image.
That nigga been copied
That would
since
explain
he
why
stole.
people saw Biggie with some of the same jewelry that Tupac wore before the Quad Studio incident. He ends the song by saying that half of these incompetent and lame rappers have never seen war, and that Big will make them run for their lives if they decide to mention his name. The only rapper that was dissing Biggie by name was Tupac. Everyone else only dissed him subliminally.
Half these rapping cats ain't seen war, couldn't score if they had point game. They lame, speak my name, I make them dash like Dame.
Next we have What's Beef, a song where Biggie explains his definition of the term beef, saying that a real beef involves sticks and stones and not words. The first verse was hereby directed at Tupac.
Rappers too persistent, quick to spit. Biggie name on ish, make my name taste like ass when you speak it.
Biggie is calling Pac persistent for continuing to accuse them of setting him up, despite them repeatedly denying it and explaining it to him. Pac and the Outlaws were quick to mention Biggie's name on records. Again, they were the only ones calling Biggie out by name, so this line is obviously about them. Biggie will make sure that every time his name comes out of their mouths, it will leave a sour, bitter, and disgusting taste, which will make them regret ever mentioning him.
What the fuck he said like
On
that?
this album, Biggie talks directly to Tupac as if he's still alive, to keep it subliminal, to keep people wondering who he's talking about, assuming that the person he's talking to is actually able to hear what Biggie has to say. But this is the way Biggie chose to close that chapter. Pac already had his turn to get everything off his chest, and now Biggie needs to add his final remarks before moving on.
See me in the street, your jewelry, you can keep it. That be our little secret, see me.
These lines have a double meaning behind them. Many people think that this is about the jewelry that the robbers at the Quad Studios tried to steal, while letting Pac keep the Rolex watch which was gifted to him by Haitian Jack. That be our little secret would hereby be referring to the message Haitian Jack wanted to send Pac. By leaving Jack's Rolex watch, they indirectly told him to not mess with Haitian Jack. So it was their little secret. He could also be talking about the bounty that Diddy put on those death row medallions, cause they wanted the Southsiders to steal their jewelry and then bring it to the bad boy camp so that they can put it in one of their music videos to taunt death row. The whole thing with Orlando Anderson trying to snatch Trayvon's chain. The members of the Ma Peru and Death Row Records found out about the bounty but kept it a secret from the public. So that's what Biggie could have meant when he said that be our little secret.
I hope they know money in the gutter of the other kids. Up them in they ass, throw them over the bridge.
What the fuck?
Gutter was the guy who pulled the gun on Tupac and his entourage at the '96 Soul Train Awards when Biggie and Pac came face to face. Biggie is trying to threaten them with something that's even more disgusting and outrageous than what Pac said at the end of Hit 'Em Up. Trying to one-up each other while talking about the children of their enemies. Oh, you thought your little threats at the end of your record would scare us? I'll show you how it's done.
Die slow, motherfucker. My phone make sure all y'all kids don't grow.
Y'all got the goal. All I make is one phone call. All y'all disappear by tomorrow.
This is Biggie explaining what he would do if it ever came to a real beef. Make his enemies disappear with just one phone call. He's still talking about Tupac, playing with the idea that he was the one that called the shots on him, even though it's not true. But he's playing the villain right now. A guy that has no morals, no empathy, and no remorse.
That motherfucker, people love goddamn Pac.
I don't feel sorrow. Actually, your man passed the gap to me.
Biggie and Tupac's brother-in-law Zayd went to the Quad Studios the day after the shooting to get Tupac's gun, which was still inside the piano. Zayd and Lil Sean had hidden the gun there from the police. Pac had shot himself with that gun, and he would have gotten into trouble if the cops ever found it. Zayd supposedly gave Biggie the gun so that he can hide it, cause Zayd was involved in the shooting as well, and the cops could have searched his apartment. Biggie had zero involvement. Pac and Zayd knew that. That's why they wanted him to hold on to the gun, cause the cops would have never suspected him of having it. That's why he ended the verse by saying, "Actually, your man passed the gat to me." And that was the only verse on What's Beef that was aimed at Pac. In the hook, he once again threatens people's mothers.
Beef is when you need two cats to go to sleep. Beef is when your moms ain't safe up in the streets.
He had made similar threats on the Get Money remix too.
Your mom's the actress, didn't want to show me the safe. It's okay, she was old anyway.
He also said beef is when RCU guaranteed to be in RCU.
Beef is when I see you, guaranteed to be in ICU.
Pac was put in ICU, in an intensive care unit, after getting shot in Las Vegas. According to Biggie, a beef with him would result in his enemies landing in ICU. And that's exactly what happened. The next song is Going Back to Cali, which was essentially supposed to be a love letter to California, trying to bring the East Coast and West Coast back together after the East-West War, while also trying to win over some of the fans on the opposite coast. But it's also a way for Biggie and Puffy to rub their victory into Suge's face, after he and Pac tried to terrorize them and prevent them from coming to the West Coast. They felt like they no longer needed to worry about Tupac and his people pulling guns on them every time they come to LA, like after the '96 Soul Train Awards, for example. In the song, Biggie basically celebrates his victory against Tupac, Death Row, and the West Coast, as the last man standing, winning by forfeit, saying the game is mine.
Got me mixed up, you drunk them licks up. Man, cause I got my sucked and my balls licked. Forfeit, the game is mine.
According to Big, Tupac lost the war by forfeit, which means that Biggie won by default. The game is now his. No more East-West divide, Biggie rules over everything. He's back on top, taking over Tupac's spot, making East Coast and West Coast anthems in his place, bragging about being able to go there without repercussions. No more threats from Tupac.
Recognize the real dawn when you see one.
Pac changed his rap name to Machiavelli the Dawn after coming out of prison. Part of the reason was because Biggie had called himself the Dawn on Who Shot Ya. But he unfortunately passed away, which allowed Biggie to reclaim his spot in the rap game. And he became big enough to not only be seen as the king of the East Coast, but he set his eyes on the West Coast as well. Wanted to reign over an entire nation as the biggest rap artist ever, overshadowing everyone else on the West Coast who tried to fill Tupac's shoes as the king of the coast. Cause the king of the West Coast was supposed to have the same status as the king of the East Coast. With Pac and Big, there was always a balance. But no one, not even Snoop, could fill the shoes of a giant. So there was no one who could be seen as Big's counterpart on the opposite coast, which means that everyone else was more or less looking up to him. He had now become the dawn of both coasts.
Sipping on booze in the house of blues. I'm going back to Cali.
He also mentioned the House of Blues in California, where Tupac went on a long rant about Biggie and Bad Boy, taunting and disrespecting them in front of a large crowd. And the people from Death Row wouldn't allow the Bad Boy camp to come perform there.
Thanks, bro.
Because the Ma Peru and the Death Row staff would always hang out there. Other artists from New York would perform there, but the people from Bad Boy wouldn't. Now that Pac was gone, Biggie could just go there without having to worry about his safety. And he's rapping these lines as if he's from LA.
At Yobondabel
as if he goes to all
4272
these locations every day.
said,
It's almost like Biggie reused
Snake
the formula
Snoop
of Tupac's
backhand index
songs to Live and
pointing
Die in
left
LA
medium
and
dark
California
skin
Love.
tone rolling on the floor laughing rolling on the floor laughing rolling on the floor laughing.
He makes clear that he never had an issue with the West Coast.
Can't stand them motherfuckers
He just
now, bro.
had beef
Every time I
with
see him
those
mad,
that
bro, I
dissed
can't
him,
stand it.
meaning Tupac, the Outlaws, and the people from Death Row, saying that he's going to annihilate them. I mean, who else from the West Coast was dissing him? He's obviously talking about destroying Tupac on a West Coast anthem produced by an East Coast producer, Easy Mo B, the same guy he introduced Tupac to. Big and Mo B wanted to show their competition on the West Coast that New Yorkers can make funk bangers too.
At Smug
Because producers on the West Coast were known for using
said,
funk samples to make G-funk
Bet
records.
just let me know I got
And
the
those were
PC
super
back
popular.
so we can play Fortnite.
They were outselling
I
the East
bet.
Coast thanks to that sound. On Ready to Die, Big had tried to merge East Coast and West Coast sound to gain followers from both coasts and to compete with the highest selling rappers, which again at the time were from the West
At the
Coast.
Crypto Butterfly
Biggie and Mo B wanted to
said,
show them that they can make those type of records on the East Coast as well, on the same level if not better.
Yeah.
And Big was trying
Yeah.
to master everybody's styles,
Stay woke, my
learning
brother.
their techniques and
Sure, though.
sounds and trying to outdo them. Those qualities and skills MCs brought to the table, Big was showing people that he can do that as well. That he can rap like them, but that they can't rap like him. The next song that was aimed at Pac is Player Hater. On the Bad Boy Volume 4 mixtape, Puffy called Pac a player hater.
We about to hit side B off, and we gonna dedicate this to all the niggas, all the now player
I ain't
haters,
gonna lie to you,
all the niggas that
I don't
ain't
get nothing paper.
jealous, all the niggas that don't act like this shit, all the niggas that don't act and keep it real, all the real thugs, the real gangsters.
You see, there are two kind of people in the world today. We have the players, and we have the player haters. Please don't hate me because I'm beautiful, baby. People, they talk about me, but my crew's so deep, you can't do a damn thing to me.
Big and Puff are now singing a joke song making fun of Pac, the player hater, who's getting robbed by Biggie. This is now the second song from Biggie which sounds like a direct reference to the Quad Studio shooting. First Who Shot Ya, now Player Hater.
Take off your shoes. You ain't nothing fool. You've been robbed.
The whole time Pac was calling them out for their quote-unquote fake player image. So Big and Puff started calling him a player hater, and then made a song that they intentionally made sound ridiculous, with Puffy singing in the background hitting all the wrong notes, showing people that they're having a good time while robbing the player hater, laughing at Pac's expense now that he's dead. They continued on the song My Downfall, which is about Biggie's enemies preying on his downfall.
Jealousy's a motherfucker. You weak, jealous motherfucker. If you a jealous motherfucker, you just a weak motherfucker.
The Bad Boy camp was convinced
he
that
let
the
Biggie
only
fuck that
reason
whole
why
album.
Pac even started this whole anti-Biggie campaign was because of his jealousy, after seeing Biggie take over the game while his own career stagnated. Seeing Biggie get crowned the King of New York with just one album, getting to collaborate with Michael Jackson in his place, basically taking his spot in the rap game, while using his success formula and never reaching out. In other words, he was jealous of Big's success while he himself was broke and in jail, thinking that Pac only started dissing him to gain some relevance, as Big was the one that's at the top. And in order for you to reach those heights, you have to take him down first. The intro also features a phone conversation between Biggie and someone
At
who
$1
threatens to kill
Goals
him.
5098
He used to receive a lot of death
said,
threats due to Pac's claims.
Was Diddy
Was
one
seen
of
as a
the
traitor
first
and
trolls
snake.
on wax?
All of a sudden, there were a lot of people on the
Excluding
West
the fake
Coast who didn't want
Eazy-E
him to
running in
visit
the
their
hood.
coast, just because of the beef alone. He had a couple of lines on here
Probably
which
so.
reference the Quad Studio shooting.
Was he the first truck?
Where three
Way
men
upside, you
from
see.
Brooklyn who were dressed in army fatigues
Yeah, you might call
robbed
that
Park
right.
in the same building where Biggie was recording music in.
Ain't no shook hands in Brooklyn. Army fatigue, bring fatigue, the enemies. Army fatigue, bring fatigue, the enemies.
Who could he have possibly meant when he said enemies?
I'm saying when all he did
Army
something, just
fatigues
what
bring
was this shit when he
fatigue.
was live?
His homies
Yeah.
from Brooklyn used to wear army fatigues.
You know, he wasn't going for this.
But so did the people that robbed Park. Dexter, Isaac, and his homies. And Park